the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, this is Lisa Hostetler-Brown. If you or a loved one are over 65 and haven't completed a long-term care planning consultation, now is the time. Did you know that if you aren't able to afford the high cost of skilled care, your assets can be rapidly depleted to only $2,000 unless you plan 5 years in advance? Visit lawyerlisa.com to see how we can help.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
They say perfection is a journey, and at Carolina Stone Craftsman, that journey leads us to just outside Columbia in Chapin. Our marble, our granite, our quartz, they're sculpted with the highest craftsmanship, honed with family values, and delivered with professional results. Explore the craftsmanship of each slab, see all our new showroom has to offer, and experience our custom hardscapes. Crafted to perfection, experience Carolina Stone Craftsman's workmanship. Take us for granted. Your journey to perfection starts with us. Carolina Stone Craftsman, just beyond Columbia and Chapin and beyond your expectations. CarolinaStoneCraftsman.com.
Serving families in Columbia and the surrounding areas, Lever Repairs is your preferred independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer. Take advantage of tax credits and rebates of up to $2,400 for total unit replacements. Ready for an exciting new career with great pay? Join the Lever Repairs Incorporated family. Go to lever-repairs-inc.com/careers. Join a family-friendly business. With decades of experience and excellent employee benefits, Lever Repairs is your #1 choice. Call today, 803-333-0737.
NIL is more important than ever to success in college athletics. Our friends at Garnet Trust are trying to build the best NIL program in the country for South Carolina student athletes. Head on over to garnettrust.com where you can support Gamecock athletes, get access to exclusive content, and help build the best NIL program in the country.
Firehouse Subs, Hook and Ladder jingle, take one.
Hook and ladder, when it's hot, it just tastes better. Warm that smoky turkey, that thin slice.
Guys, this is a 30-second ad. You gotta sing faster.
Hook and ladder, when it's hot, it just
Faster.
tastes better. Melty cheese and toast spread, mustard, mayo, perfect spread, lettuce, green, and onion. The sandwich is too big for the song. It's too big.
The Hook and Ladder, available only at participating Firehouse Subs restaurants.
What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
The best selection of new Chevys. Right now. No hassle, no ridiculous add-on stickers. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Your home for the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station. The Halftime Show with Terry Ford and Tyler Head. Call or text 803-404-6100 on the Game Network.
It's the place for sports.
And on the 107.5 The Game app.
All right, welcome in. It is the Halftime Show. Tyler Head, Terry Ford along with you on your Tuesday here on the Game. Navigating through a busy week when it comes to Gamecock sports. Again, men's basketball in action tonight. Taking on Georgia senior night. Get to honor the seniors one final time over at Colonial Life Arena before the last regular season game coming up on Saturday on the road out there in Knoxville. And then baseball in action as they take on Davidson tonight at 6:30. By the way, that game on our sister station, 98.5 WOMG, if you wanted to tune in, 6:15 pregame for that 6:30 first pitch. And, we obviously yesterday spent the day reacting to what we saw over the weekend against Clemson, which a lot of not good stuff, right? Particularly when you talk about the offense and, only scoring in, 3 innings over the course of 27 over the weekend and ultimately coming up short and, getting swept by your in-state rival, which makes it that much worse. And now you have 6 games over the course of the next week. So tonight against Davidson, tomorrow against the Citadel, 3 games against Morehead State this weekend, and Georgia State to, I don't even know if get yourself back on track is the right way to phrase it, but to work out the final kinks, right? Because we knew that taking on Clemson was going to be your real gauge, your real litmus test on where you were in reference to the competition you're going to be playing in the SEC. Look at the D1 baseball standings, which, by the way, Clemson moved up to number 11. You've got the top 4 teams on your schedule. 3 of them in the SEC, and then a couple midweek games against North Carolina coming up in a couple weeks as well. You're going to be playing the best of the best. And that doesn't mean you're going to go out there and get swept by all those teams, but the way you played against Clemson, if you continue to play that way, especially on offense, pitching was decent for the most part. If you play that way on offense and you can't plate but runners in, 3 of 27 innings, you're going to lose a lot of games. So you got to figure things out before you get there. And again, we'll get into this here in a moment, but Maneri has a reputation of teams getting better as the season goes along, and you have to put your faith in him as a coach, a very experienced one at that he's going to do what needs to be done to get the team in the right shape to take on Oklahoma coming up here in a couple of weeks.
I mean, one of his teams, I forget which one that got to Omaha, or at least to the Supers, was 13-17 in the SEC.
Yeah.
And that team ended up doing some damage in the postseason. And if you look at it, and you did a deeper dive, I was trying to look at some more of it today, and I just couldn't get to it as much. I mean, he's had some teams, like for an example, I believe the team that won the College World Series lost 2 out of 3 to Illinois in the non-conference.
Yep. Not a notable baseball powerhouse, exactly.
You're telling me there's not a lot of Omaha trips in Illinois' history?
I was going to say, I've never run into a Fighting Illini baseball fan.
What? I mean, do you think people go there to those games to study because it's quiet?
Well, God, it doesn't get out of 30 degrees probably till halfway through the season, so probably not.
You don't think that'd be a fun place to go hang and watch a baseball game?
Probably not.
So, I mean, his teams seem to get better as the year goes along. They have these bumps in the road earlier in the year, and things get better. Are we guaranteeing you that? No, of course not. But just looking at the track record of Paul Maneri as a coach, that's a thing that happens over and over again.
Yeah, and to be specific, and I brought up the example yesterday in reference to that 08 team, which did make the College World Series the year before they won it all. They went on a 5-game losing streak, which was 2 non-cons, and then they opened up conference play, getting swept by Tennessee on the road to a team that didn't even make the postseason at all in the Volunteers.
This is not Tony Vitelli.
No, it's not the Tennessee that we know now. That was back before Tennessee realized baseball existed. You know what I mean? And to go further, 2017, a team that was a College World Series runner-up, lost 5 of 7 to end the month of March as the number 4 team in the country. 2019, as the number 2 team in the country, got swept by Texas. 2021, lost 5 of their first 6 conference games to number 3 Mississippi State, number 12 Tennessee. Like, they just have a knack, and for whatever reason, of starting out a little bit slow, but getting better as the season goes along. And those were teams that made the Super Regionals and made the College World Series. So they always figure it out, it seems like. And you can say, yeah, maybe those are more talented teams. Okay, that's a fair point. But I don't think, know the full potential and talent of this team because you have so many new faces and so many things different about it than a year ago.
Yeah, I mean, look, the weekend didn't go well. We know. We talked about it yesterday. It was a bad weekend. And there are things you absolutely have to hit better than you did over the weekend. You're going to lose a lot of games in the SEC because you cannot produce that little on offense and be a successful baseball team. You just can't. But there were good things. You got some good starting pitching. 2 of the 3 starts were excellent. The bullpen in games 2 and 3, had some problems late, but you got some arms in the bullpen you like. Defensively, you played well. And the biggest problem is, again, going back to the scoring of runs. You just got to score runs. But there are things to like about this baseball team 12 games in. You didn't get run ruled 3 straight games.
No.
You didn't watch those games and go, wow, Clemson's so much better. No, they were better for 3 days because you know what they did? Whenever those moments in a game came where you had to get a big hit, Clemson got a big hit. You need to get a big out, Clemson got a big out. Clemson didn't make a big mistake to kill them. And if they did, South Carolina couldn't capitalize on it anyway. It was just one of those weekends where in the big moments, you lost all the big moments. But you could play with them. You did play with them. You were right there. And so, look, I know it's, Tara, come on, quit blowing sunshine. I'm not. They lost, and they got to get better offensively, absolutely. And your bullpen, can't give up runs late in games when it's tight. But there were some good things to take from it, and if this guy, Paul Maneri, can do what he does with teams, this squad should get better as it goes along. We're not guaranteeing you it's going to happen, but if you spend 72 hours looking at this.
Sure.
there is a pattern with Paul Maneri, and the pattern is it gets better as the season goes along, and they become a team you don't want to deal with. His teams become teams you don't want to deal with once you get late in the year in the postseason.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see if all this kind of stuff holds. But the evidence is there that that's what happens with Maneri coach teams.
Yes.
And again, you didn't get curb stomped for 3 days. You just couldn't come through in the big moments for 3 days.
Exactly.
So, and obviously that does have to change.
You, from a fan perspective, probably want to see them throttle the next 6 teams or next 6 games, right? You want to see them go on a tear in the next 7 days to lead into conference play where you're feeling a little bit better because, if you're playing one-run games against the Citadel, and okay, maybe the Citadel being a road game in the middle of the week, that could get a little tricky. But Davidson tonight, Morehead State this weekend, Georgia State next weekend, you want to see them win those games pretty comfortably and kind of reset those feelings that you had going into the Clemson series.
Yeah, and look, it's funny because you put it the right way. We always say that the team needs to feel better by winning these games. No, you know who else needs to feel better?
The fans.
Fans need to feel better. Absolutely. All right. We got a bunch of stuff to get to here on the show as well. Baseball is, we have it tonight on our sister station, 98.5 WOMG. I believe 6:15 pregame, 6:30 first pitch against Davidson, a team that's scuffled a bit this year in the early going. And the hope is South Carolina can make themselves feel a lot better by smacking Davidson around later this evening. The men play basketball against Georgia tonight right here on 107.5 The Game in Columbia and our affiliate 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. 5:30 pregame, 6 o'clock tip at home against Georgia. Now, Georgia, they're a solid basketball team. They're just coming off of 2 big wins. They took out top 5 ranked Florida at home. They went on the road and they cracked Texas. And they put themselves firmly on the bubble to get in the NCAA tournament. They shoot twos really well. They get to the line really well. They're a good offensive rebounding team. They are better defensively than offense. They're top 35 defense and a top 60 offense. So they're a solid basketball team all the way around. But again, like Texas, like Arkansas, if Georgia brings their C or D game, they're going to leave with a loss.
Well, that's the thing is South Carolina's become a bubble team's nightmare these past 2 weeks. And looking at it right now, and again, Georgia did take care of Texas over the weekend, and now they're in the first 4 out. Arkansas went from first 4 byes to last 4 in. So, again, their margin's razor thin right now. Georgia moves first 4 byes. So, again, a quad 2 loss to South Carolina put them right there, back there on the thin ice of the bubble again. So, again, you're not playing for anything if you're Carolina. You're outside of going on a 5-game run in Nashville next week. You're not playing any kind of postseason basketball, but you can play spoiler, and that's fun. Yeah. To some degree.
I mean, if you can't go, you want to make sure others don't go.
Sure. You want other people to feel the misery, too.
Exactly. You want them to stay home from the dance like you and sitting around crying uncontrollably.
Exactly.
And, I watch, you speak of Arkansas, I know it's one game. I know it's a body of work and it's a resume, and Arkansas has had some really good moments this year as well, even though they got off to a hideous start in SEC play. I'm going to tell you what, though. If I'm John Calipari, they walked home to Fayetteville.
That was concerning. Like, it's one thing to come in and lose, right? If you lose a 3-4 point game, it's back and forth, whatever. Okay, no big deal. But to look like you didn't show up and to look like you didn't belong in the same gym as the team that had 1 conference win going into the day.
And you look like you didn't care.
Yeah, you're just going through the motions.
I got to watch it a second time today. It was on SEC Network
this morning.
Earlier this morning. And I was in and out on it over the weekend because I had this thing called my girlfriend's birthday weekend. And for some reason, hey, honey, we got to hunker in and just and focus on this South Carolina-Arkansas game.
I got to watch this 1-win conference team.
Because that would be what she said. What, are they getting ready for the NCAA tournament?
No, not exactly.
Are they fighting to get in the NCAA? Terry, are they on the bubble, sweetheart? No.
Are they taking on a top 5 team? Not exactly.
Then why are we watching this on my birthday weekend? And then I spend the birthday weekend on the couch. So I'm in and out on the game, and I got the chance to watch it a little closely today.
Yeah.
And I won't lie to you, man. I was embarrassed for Arkansas. Because to me, I watched a team, by the way, who is fighting for their NCAA tournament life.
Yeah, you got to put your best foot forward this time of year.
And you didn't compete from the jump. And you didn't seem to care that you weren't competing. And I'm watching this thing. If you would have take the records off the screen, and you just had South Carolina playing Arkansas, you told me one team has got one conference win, and they're playing out the string, and the other team is battling to get in the tournament, I'd have flipped them.
Yeah.
I'd have said South Carolina's that team.
It was very reminiscent of if you ever played JV in high school and they made you scrimmage varsity. You're like, well, we're not going to win, but we're going to go try. Yeah. And you end up losing by, whether depending on what sport, 30 points, 10 runs, whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was. If I am Arkansas, I'm embarrassed. If I'm John Calipari, I'm embarrassed. And if I'm the people that are paying John Calipari a lot of money and shelling out the NIL dough to that team, I'm furious. I am furious in that effort. I'm watching that thing. The Arkansas bigs, like they were allergic to contact. Look, Colin Murray-Boyles and Nick Pringle were having their way. Mm-hmm. I mean, Murray-Boyles is almost smirking as he goes back down the court after he runs through those cats. And I'm watching Jordan Butler, who, by the way, has God love the young fella. Not the most physical human being on the face of the earth.
No, well, there's a reason he pulls up when he shoots.
You know what it was? He was looking around going, wow, these guys are a bunch of bleepers. I'm going to get into it too. Because when you start feeling the other team is not as physical as you or softer than you bow up.
Oh, sure.
Jordan Butler bowed up because he wasn't feeling any kind of, physical, what is the word I'm looking for, pushback. Arkansas's bigs, I know they're not, the beefiest dudes in the world, but for the love of God, man, compete.
Right.
I mean, it was embarrassing watching Arkansas. And part of this, I'm going to give South Carolina credit. Lamont had a game plan. The players executed it. And they knew, by the way. Lamont said it in a nice way that they had some matchups they liked. I'll say it for you now, and if you watch the game, Lamont could have said this. Arkansas's bigs are soft as toilet paper. We're going to go at them for 40 minutes and see if they've got any fight in them. And guess what? They don't.
Yep.
Wow. That team should be banned from the NCAA tournament for that effort. And that's not taking anything away from South Carolina. Gamecocks played great. They played both ends of the court. They gave effort. No one else like that said to me watching that was, wow, the team has nothing to play for, gives more of a damn about this game. The team has got everything to play for.
As Coach Pearce said, resilient.
I mean, it was wow. All right. Shane Beamer's in Congress. He's not running for office. He's talking college athletics. We'll get to that next on the halftime show. Terry Ford, Tyler Head here on the game.
107.5 The Game in Columbia, 100.5 The Game in Florence, and 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. The Game Network, powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV, sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass, shepherdsglass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV, sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. 107.5 The Game, broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevy Studios. You can save up to $20,000 on new Silverados. Stop by or shop online today and see how Herndon Chevy makes you smile. Together, let's drive.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge.
At Wells Fargo, we know what got you into your business. Whether it's manufacturing, running a restaurant, or your business from home. What you didn't get into your business for was banking. But luckily, Wells Fargo offers business checking, payments, and lending all in one place, in your neighborhood and on our app, so you can focus on doing what you love. Wells Fargo, you're good at business, we're good at business banking. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/business. Terms apply. Wells Fargo Bank, NA member FDIC.
Fun, fun, fun with friends and family. Saturday, March 29th, it's the historic 90th running of the Carolina Cup races presented by MUSC Health. Make tailgating plans now. Spring begins at the Carolina Cup. Unique fashion, shopping, entertainment, and incredible steeplechase racing all day long. There is nothing like the Carolina Cup races presented by MUSC Health. Get your tickets now at carolinacup.org. It's Saturday, March 29th, rain or shine in Camden.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Messaging data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out.
Honey!
What's wrong? I thought you already left for work.
The garage door is broken. It won't open and I can't get my car out. I can't miss this meeting today. Everyone is coming in for it.
Relax. I'm texting OGD right now.
What is OGD?
OGD, Overhead Garage Door. They're the garage door experts in Columbia. Take my car in the driveway and OGD will handle the garage. They have same-day service and they'll get the garage door fixed today. Fast and easy.
Wait, with just one text, you can get our garage door fixed same day by OGD?
Yes, OGD will get it done, no problem. Now, you need to get to work and let OGD worry about the garage door.
Garage door broken, stuck, slow, or squeaky? Text OGD, the only name you need for your garage door. Text TIGHT to 200-300 right now. Text right now and get an exclusive link to special limited time savings. Don't wait. Text the word TIGHT to 200-300 now. Text TIGHT to 200-300.
Serving families in Columbia and the surrounding areas, Lever Repairs is your preferred independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer. Take advantage of tax credits and rebates of up to $2,400 for total unit replacements. Ready for an exciting new career with great pay? Join the Lever Repairs Incorporated family. Go to lever-repairs-inc.com/careers. Join a family-friendly business. With decades of experience and excellent employee benefits, Lever Repairs is your #1 choice. Call today, 803-333-0737.
You want to remodel. Actually, you need to remodel. I'm Eddie Springer of Trey Cow Builders, and with us, remodeling is easy. Whether it's your kitchen, bedroom, bathroom, or even the whole house that needs an upgrade, at Trey Cow, we'll help you every step of the way. We do first-class work quickly, cleanly, and affordably. Call 360-8211, 360-8211, or visit TRECALbuilders.com. Trey Cow Builders, quality from start to finish.
People with arthritic hips are traveling from all around the world for hip resurfacing in Columbia. Here's Dr. Thomas P. Gross to explain why.
Many young active patients don't have to settle for a hip replacement. Hip resurfacing restores more natural hip function. It even allows you to get back to contact sports. We've done more hip resurfacings than any other practice in the country with great success.
For more information on hip resurfacing, visit midorthoneuro.com. Midlands Orthopedics and Neurosurgery.
Halftime Show with Terry Ford and Tyler Head on the Game Network and on the 107.5 The Game app.
Halftime show. Terry Ford, Tyler Head. We're just hanging, rolling up until 3 here on the Game. Again, tonight we've got men's basketball here on 107.5 The Game in Columbia and our affiliate in Myrtle Beach, 100.3 The Game. Gamecocks and Bulldogs at CLA. Baseball tonight, Gamecocks hosting Davidson at Founders. And you can hear that on our sister station, 98.5 WOMG 615, pregame 6:30 first pitch. I think I got all that right, Tyler. Just off the top of my head, which is always dangerous.
That is correct.
All righty. All right, so Shane Beamer, and I sent you a couple of cuts we can use later about Shane on Capitol Hill. And I get it. I do. And Shane wrote a letter to Congress and things of that nature. And from the perspective of people like Shane and, Jeremiah Donati and everybody that is on the side of colleges and universities and who work in athletic departments, and I get all that side of it. Congress, help us. Help us, Congress. We need help. We need laws. We need you to give us an antitrust exemption. We need you to help us. I understand why they're doing that.
Sure.
I do. And it's not even the people that are in charge of it right now. This is one of those things, though, the people before you screwed you, brother. They just did.
Yeah, it's a big mess and look, I've been working here for almost 3 years now.
Has it been that long?
We've been talking about this same thing in 20 different ways since then because if it's one lawsuit after another, and we're roughly a month away from the final hearing on the House settlement. And as Chris pointed out in the last hour, once that's what we assume is going to happen when it comes to putting revenue sharing in place, there's a line out the door of the next set of lawsuits waiting to happen. Like, it's not going to suddenly say, hey, everything's all sunshine and rainbows now, and we're good to go. Like, no, this is going to be, hey, what's undefeated? Billable hours. And they're going to continue to be undefeated unless we come to some kind of universal agreement here.
You know who's winless? The NCAA.
Yeah. They're Glass Joe.
yeah.
Well, Glass Joe at least had one win.
Glass Joe. And so the Washington Commanders. So
Generals.
Commanders won a lot of games.
The Generals occasionally win once every 17 years.
Right. So they're better than the NCAA in court. Look, here I understand why no one on the side of universities and the collegiate athletic hierarchy, they don't want to sit down at a table with players and bargain. I get it. I understand. None of these solutions are 100% foolproof without issues. None of them.
And can you truly get everybody to agree on something?
Well, you have to get a majority. The problem is you get a majority, like your vote, when the CBAs are done in the NFL, you just got to get a majority. You say a majority. And I understand, well, we don't want to make them employees. We don't want to unionize them. I understand it. Shane brought up in his letter to Congress, this could wipe out Olympic sports on campus. Well, you know what else can wipe out Olympic sports on campus? A $20 million hit to your university that they didn't budget for.
Yeah, those kind of sports, if they get anything, would be a part of the 5% of the budget.
Yeah, so, look, Olympic sports are in trouble moving forward, and we used to call them non-revenue generating sports. They're all in trouble to begin with in this new world of college athletics. And not one way, every way there's an issue. But at the end of the day, and I don't know it because, again, I didn't go to law school. I mean, I've watched a ton of Law and Order, but I haven't gone to law school. I'm wondering, is there a way you can bargain with players? Is there a way you can make them some sort of entity that has a say in what goes on and you negotiate with without unionizing them and making them employees? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
Because to bargain, you're going to have kind of one voice to speak for them, which, guess what? That's a union. So I don't know how you...
Can you call it something else, though, is what I'm saying? Because once you say... I get the idea of once you call them a union, they become employees. Now you're looking at a whole different model, right?
Right.
And I understand why college athletics doesn't want that. I get it, because that's opening up another Pandora's box of God knows what. But you have to get it. You have to find a way to get together and agree. You're going to basically and this I don't agree. I don't think this is right either. To go get an antitrust exemption to that way, and that means we don't have to follow any antitrust laws. That way we can take ourselves back to the old model.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
I don't think that's fair either. I don't. I mean, players have now made these inroads. Now you want to try to get antitrust exemptions to take it all away so you can go back to being the greedy pukes you were forever.
Yeah, which it's not going to happen.
No. And if you're Congress, look, for me, and I love sports, man. I do this for a living. I would hope that the people we have voted into Congress understand there are a lot more important things on their list of things to do than to bail out the NCAA.
Yeah, well, and that's
just saying.
We obviously had an election year this past year. Nobody was running on the NIL platform.
You don't think that would have worked?
And that was kind of my concern as we talked about it through all of 2024 is how much of this is getting pushed back to the back burner because there's so many more pressing things going on, which is understandable, and I completely agree. Yes, handle these other things that have nothing to do with this before you get to this, but now it's like, okay, how much focus is being put on this when there's a laundry list of other things happening around the country and around the world that take precedent?
Yeah, I mean, Look, none of this is easy. The more you think about it, and I've always said this, you got to collectively bargain with these players. You've got to bargain with players. Everybody's going to get to the table, agree on some kind of documentation moving forward that sets the rules of all this. So it's the only way you're going to stay out of court.
Which is going to have to be amended every
4 years.
3 to 5 years, 4 years, whatever, because guess what? It's a new crop of athletes coming in at that point in time.
And it's just like your collective bargain agreements typically last 4 or 5 years. Maybe sometimes even if you set them for 7, there's always a mechanism like 3 or 4 years in it that you can redo it or renegotiate it if one side's not happy at that point. So these things typically go in those type of cycles anyway.
Sure.
But it's just, and I know that isn't, even though that's what I always scream about, I know it's not 100% foolproof, and there's a lot of hoops you have to jump, and no one's going to be happy with any of this.
Yeah.
No one's going to walk away from a table going, yeah, baby. Just like players weren't happy with the old model because it wasn't fair. And there are people say to me all the time, Tara, you know how much that scholarship's worth? I do, because guess what? I got kids in college. Trust me, I know the value of a scholarship. My bank account knows the value of a scholarship. Believe me. I cry once a month, uncontrollably. I know. But it's a bigger thing that when you see the millions and billions of dollars being generated in collegiate athletics, and that model before all this started wasn't fair either. But again, that's why I always go back to the NCAA. You had 2 roads to go when people were telling you this was all coming.
Right.
You could have took the road you took. Nice work. That went well. Dumpster on fire going down the river. Or you could have got proactive and started putting in a lot more player-friendly models and player-friendly compensation models. And I'm not saying you wouldn't have ended up in court, but maybe this wouldn't be the foobar that it is right now if you'd have gotten proactive. Instead of, no, we're greedy and we want to keep it all. And that's all this is. We didn't want to lose our control of all this.
Yeah.
And where's it gotten you? Nice work.
Yeah, good job.
Great work. And I want to know. I want to get the group of dudes who listen to the lawyers. Who lawyers aren't dumb. No, we'll go to court. Billable hours.
Go right ahead. Be my guest.
Yeah. Even though you lost, do you know how tough it is for the Supreme Court to agree on anything?
You're like never happens. Really, to get both sides to agree on anything. Period. Which, again, they're trying to push this as a bipartisan issue, which, I mean, it is.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, getting both sides of the aisle to agree. There's a reason Charlie Baker's the president of the NCAA, because they thought he could bring people together to agree on stuff. It hasn't happened.
Skunked in the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
All right. Just in case you just woke up, we'll get to that next year on the Halftime Show. Get you some headlines of the day next on The Game.
107.5 The Game in Columbia, 100.5 The Game in Florence, and 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. The Game Network. Hate paying for streaming? Well, the 107.5 The Game app is free. Yes, free. Just download the 107.5 The Game app.
What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet. Check out the Season of Love at South Carolina's #1 volume Chevy dealer. I-26 in Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Together, let's drive.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother was saying he got life insurance from Ethos. With Ethos, it only took 10 minutes, and he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Build monthly.
Take advantage of Zera's Air Duct Cleaning's spring sale and remove the dust from your home. Mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game for $50 off your next air duct cleaning. Use code AIR50 when scheduling online at zerascolumbia.com.
Hello, I'm Tom Reek with South Carolina Lumber and Supply in Casey, South Carolina. We specialize in lumber that focuses on the inside of your home. Shiplap, beaded ceiling, V-joint, and flooring. Because we focus on these areas only, we can provide you with quality products at incredible savings. So if you're looking for a simple triple accent wall, a porch ceiling, or a whole interior makeover, we're here to help. Come see us at 2245 Julius Felder Street in Casey. Our store hours are 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, or give us a call at 803-608-3097. We look forward to working with you at South Carolina Lumber and Supply in Casey.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing. And for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
Hey everyone, it's Chris Clark. Garnet Trust is hoping to build the best and most sustainable NIL program in the country. To find out how you can get involved, go on over to garnettrust.com. You can support Gamecock athletes there, get access to exclusive content, and help Garnet Trust build the best NIL program in the country.
Jim Rome takes on sports.
Why? Because you're not playing me.
With rapid-fire takes.
Y'all went from the Super Bowl straight to the toilet bowl. He's not over the NFL. The NFL is over him.
Scorching debates.
All the good, all the bad, all the ups, all the downs.
He's the Spitfire of sports smack.
Sorry for what I said because it was appropriate when I said it, but I can't say it anymore, dude. You are killing the game.
The Jim Rome Show podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Just in case you just woke up, here's what's happening in the world of sports on the Halftime Show on the Game. Sponsored by the Gutterman. Protect your biggest investment. Call the Gutterman at 803-791-7147.
We are rolling, just in case you just woke up here on the Halftime Show. Tyler Head, Terry Ford, we're giving Dave a day off to part of his executive producer duties. He, some of the perks, he got a day off.
Well, he leveraged that with his recent contract negotiations.
And to become executive producer.
Yeah.
There's other things in that agreement we can't speak of.
No, and calls company car, 7 figures of compensation, a Swiss bank account for some reason.
Really weird. I know. Something about a place in Amsterdam. I don't know why.
Yeah. Again, we don't ask questions about what Dave does outside of these walls.
No, company. He wanted a company chopper. Not a helicopter, but a chopper.
Yeah.
I don't understand that either.
Yeah. He might be a secret agent.
Could be. You see David Adair, the new James Bond.
Well, the James Bond movies were modeled after him.
Absolutely.
For those that don't know.
Yeah.
Daniel Craig, they said, looks like a young David Adair.
Yeah. So does Sean Connery.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, Sean Connery shadowed Dave for a year.
Yeah.
In preparing for the role of the original James Bond.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm getting the mental picture of Dave being James Bond. It's quite entertaining. I'm really enjoying it. All right. His cats are following him everywhere. All right. So just in case you just woke up and didn't realize, South Carolina has a baseball game tonight, taking on Davidson. at home, trying to bounce back from a rough weekend against Clemson. Let's grab a little Maneri from today there, Tyler. Let's start off, cut two, some injury issues going on with Matthew LeCroy and Kennedy Jones. Here's Paul Maneri talking to Elijah yesterday on the postgame show here on the game. Here's Paul Maneri's thoughts on the two injuries.
Yeah, it's been really something we've been with Talmadge. It's something we've been dealing with all year. He believe it or not, the first game of the season, he took a ball off his hand to pitch in the dirt, hit him in his throwing hand, and we didn't know it at the time, but it fractured his thumb on his right hand, and unfortunately, he's been in a lot of pain throughout the season. He's played right through it because he's so tough. He's just an unbelievable warrior. But you know, what happened when Kennedy threw out the runner in the middle game at home plate, and he made the tag on the runner at home plate. Somehow his hand got hit pretty hard, and it just swelled up and was very painful for him that day. I didn't really know that it was hurting him because he didn't tell me it was hurting him, but he was unable to play yesterday. And then what happened was Kennedy on the first night, when Talmadge hit the double that scored a couple runs, including Kennedy sliding headfirst in the home plate, Kennedy banged up his left shoulder. He's had some problems with that shoulder in the past, and so I think it flared up, and he wasn't able to swing yesterday. And then also the other guy I didn't even mention was Dalton Mayshore. He's back on the disabled list too. He's having a problem with one of his legs, and I guess when it rains it pours, but he won't be available for a few days. We'll have to kind of see how that thing works out. But these are the trials and tribulations that a team goes through every year. Our team is no different than most teams around the country, so we're just going to have to grit our teeth and fight through it and get back on the winning ways tomorrow night, hopefully against Davidson, and the next man up type of attitude has to prevail.
Yeah, you just got to go next man up. I mean, it stinks. LeCroy hasn't hit consistently at all this year, but, behind the plate,
he's been your best option.
Yes, and then Kennedy Jones, he's one of the few guys hitting over 250 in your lineup. Wasn't hitting for a ton of power, but still was being productive offensively, and now you've got him banged up as well. So, again, it's just like Coach Maneri said, every team gets their share of them in some way, shape, or form. Hopefully you're getting them all out of the way early and you can move forward.
Sure, and then throw in there, Dalton Mayshore also nicked up a little bit as well. So you got guys throughout the lineup that are affected to some degree. And again, he's not using that as an excuse, but it is presenting, hey, we've been dealing with this, and hope those guys can get back to 100%. Because, again, Kennedy Jones and Talmadge LeCroy, both very important guys in your lineup there that you want to get out there on a daily basis as much as you can.
Yeah, so when you're not hitting and you like to have Kennedy Jones in the lineup, you wouldn't mind, seeing what you can do with Dalton Mayshore, and with those guys hurt and unavailable, and now you got to work your way around it. And, you're hoping that this week you can get yourself feeling good again. And you're right. You were right. You said this earlier. You want to kind of start offensively putting together some consistently good games, to where it's not like, okay, we scored 5 runs in the 5th inning. Besides that, only scored 1 run the rest of the game and only had 2 hits.
Yeah.
And you had some of that even when South Carolina was winning. They go through games where they were just slow starts offensively, or they might score a run or two in the first, in the 2nd or 3rd inning, and then do nothing for 3 or 4 innings, and then score a couple more. You'd like some more consistency.
Stringing together quality at bats, and that's not always getting a hit. That's drawing walks. That's moving runners around. Those kind of things that are being productive when you're up at the plate, and that's where kind of people are focusing in, and understandably so, on Monty Lee. And again, Monty Lee was, of course, on the staff a year ago, and the hitting was very feast or famine. If they weren't hitting a home run, it seemed like they were striking out. Well, guess what? They're still striking out a lot, but they're not hitting home runs now. So, again, and I ran through some of the numbers earlier, they're in the bottom of the SEC in most major categories when it comes to hitting in the SEC, and that's not great. And again, you're only through 12 games. That certainly can improve, but you're not off to necessarily the hottest start. And we thought, in the last 2 non-conference games before Clemson, they were kind of getting on track a little bit. 14 runs against Milwaukee and Gardner-Webb in those 2 games respectively, and then you go out there and score 6 runs over 27 innings, only scoring in 3 innings against Clemson. So it's kind of right back to square one a little bit.
And that's the thing. It's like you were like, okay, got a couple run rules in here. Maybe the offense is starting to get cooking, and then you just hit a brick wall against Clemson. So, again, we'll see what happens later on today, 6:15 pregame, 6:30 first pitch on our sister station, 98.5 WOMG as South Carolina takes on Davidson at Founders. Very interesting. Andy Staples put up a good post about this whole Clemson, Florida State settlement. And because I was saying, why? Why is the ACC, even though I feel like they have all the leverage in the world here, why are they willing to settle? Andy Staples brought up something very interesting. He brought up a number. And because we were always talking about how much would it cost you to get out?
Mm-hmm.
What would you pay if you're Florida State or Clemson to break away, get out of this whole agreement and all this other stuff? And remember, at one point, it was, $500 million, right? Remember that Florida State attorney estimated that?
Yep. And they were having to look into, Saudi Public Investment Fund to maybe foot the bill for all that kind of stuff. And
that's a safe move.
Yeah. Well, again, they seem to have endless money, but if you needed that much, they'd be the ones to get it from, I guess.
And those firms, they like their money back.
They do.
And they like a profit.
You're going to have to recoup it at some point.
Well, a source told On3 a school in the ACC could pay about $200 million to leave the ACC once this settlement goes through, and that figure would fall to well below $100 million should a school wish to exit the league after the 2029-2030 school year. Now, that number feels more doable, especially like Andy says, if you got a few years to get it together.
Well, here's for reference, by the way, and Ralph Russo of The Athletic just put this out a few minutes ago. He said Clemson projects with the new ACC revenue share model that would give the school the opportunity to make an additional $120 million in the next 6 years alone. So you do the math, you're essentially making that money of what the exit fee would be, or even more than that, in just the next handful of years.
So roughly $20 million extra in your pocket.
Yeah. Now, again, this, and I brought this up earlier, this stops realignment for the time being. We'll get a couple of years, but what happens in 29 and 30, once these teams theoretically have what they need to potentially leave, I don't know. They do need a landing spot, which is the big question.
Yeah, and that's the other part. It also would give you a few years to get the lay of the land, because, again, we say this all the time. Florida State and Clemson, they act like the minute they leave, they're going to have 20, it's going to be like that TV show, The Bachelor.
Yeah.
Like they're going to walk out and 20 dudes with roses are going to be standing there ready to take them away. Now you get to find out if that's true down the road.
The question becomes, do the SEC and the Big Ten want to continue to expand?
Exactly. That's the other part. All right, Firehouse Sub text the hour next here on the halftime show on The Game.
107.5 The Game in Columbia, 100.5 The Game in Florence, and 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. The Game Network.
Listen to Gamecocks baseball on The Game. And if a Gamecocks batter hits a grand slam,
you could win cash. You could win cash. You could win cash. You could win cash in the Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union Grand Slam giveaway. Go to 1075thegame.com and register. Brought to you by Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union and The Game.
This is Maggie Gray with the Sports Minute, sponsored by Empower. Invest well so you can live a little at Empower.com. Texas Longhorn spring practices are almost here, which means the beginning of the Arch Manning era in earnest. Peyton and Eli's nephew is already atop the Heisman leaderboard at most sportsbooks. And with Texas making it to the college football playoff semifinal the last 2 seasons, the expectations are sky high for the Longhorns. I'm Maggie Gray.
Empower. Tim collects bobbleheads. A lot of bobbleheads. baseball bobbleheads, race car bobbleheads, little chihuahua bobbleheads. He's got an entire room strictly for bobbleheads. Does he need them? No. Is his wife mad about it? A little. But Tim works with Empower, and he got good at money, so he can be a little bad. Ooh, horse bobblehead. Classy, Tim. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
Spring is finally here, and so are spring projects. So get them started at Harbor Freight's parking lot sale. This weekend, save on products like pressure washers for $69.99, 42-inch roller cabinets for under $500, plus 30% off Hercules corded power tools. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight. Valid until 3/9/25 while supplies last. Limitations apply, so spring in before it's over.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this. If something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
This is the story of the one. As a quality technician in a food processing center, she knows that making the right call is the best way to avoid a recall. That's why she trusts Grainger's world-class supply chain to deliver the high-quality supplies she needs to help keep her production line, her equipment, and her customers happy and healthy. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
As of 9 a.m. this morning, our EV trucking company is officially in operation.
Andrew's zero-emission trucks are driving the transportation category forward.
We'll make driving safer, easier, and less stressful.
Now our technology needs to keep up with demand.
He needs to put pedal to the metal on hiring more software engineers.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like fences. A house with a big yard and a white picket fence was always the dream. But then you saw the price to install a fence and you're wondering if the color is driving the price up. Nobody ever dreams of a beige or a gray picket fence, right? So maybe those fences are cheaper. But no, they're not. Then you remember that switching your home and auto to Progressive could save you hundreds and make all your dreams of a fence come true. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers, not available in all states.
Now, on the Halftime Show, it's time for our Firehouse Subs Text of the Hour on the Game Network and on the 107.5 The Game app.
All right, Tyler Head, Terry Ford, Halftime Show. Time to get our Firehouse Sub Text of the Hour at 803-404-6100. Also, we got a new Twitter poll up. We'll get to that in a minute. What do you got there on the text line?
Nameless Texter says, same baseball team as last year, load the bases and get nothing. I referenced this a little bit earlier. Some of the numbers, the important numbers in the SEC, at least for South Carolina, they are, I think, through 12 games roughly for most teams, 15th in batting average, tied for 14th in total RBIs, 13th in total strikeouts, and 15th in on-base percentage. Not great.
There are 16 teams in the SEC.
There are.
It's not good.
And most of those, they're only above, like, A&M.
Yeah. And, the other part, we talked about this. I get what Paul Maneri's saying. We want to be more aggressive at the plate. Don't want to sit and take a lot of strikes and take a lot of pitches. You want to go up there and be productive offensively and swing the bat. But over the weekend, they took a lot of pitches, South Carolina. They took a lot of strikes. They put themselves behind in counts. They had issues hitting breaking pitches and off-speed stuff. And I almost think... And again, it sounds simpler. You played baseball and I played baseball or attempted to. And, you go up there, and if you go up there with this idea, okay, I'm going to, be super selective, or I'm not going to swing at pitches outside the zone, or I'm going to be really aggressive, or you go up there with this, and you need a plan.
Mm-hmm.
But I almost feel like, with Mark Kingston these last couple of years, it felt like they went up there with the idea that we're going to work deep counts and we're going to walk. And, not to say we're not going to swing the bat, because obviously they swung the bat. We want to hit. We want to hit a bomb or we want to walk.
Yes. There wasn't a lot of small ball in between.
And that's basically what they were doing. They were looking at hitting home runs or drawing walks. Two of what we call the three outcomes in baseball, which is crush the game from a excitement standpoint, right?
Yep.
All right. Now, and when that, it's like, okay, you're taking pitches because you're working a count. Now you got a Palmineri not saying the total opposite, but saying, look, I want you to be aggressive. So that means you get up there and you're swinging. Some of these guys might go, ooh, there's a strike. I'm swinging. I want to be aggressive. The best way to do this, we talk about this term all the time, hunt your pitch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I heard someone say the other day they were complaining about, a couple of hitters swing at the first pitch. Now, no one ever complains if you swing at the first pitch and hit a home run or you hit a double down the line. No one ever says, why are you swinging at the first pitch? It's if you swing and miss and then you get out, everybody goes, or if you pop up the first pitch, you're like, what are you doing? But here's the thing. If that pitch is in your zone, your happy place, and, you take a cut at it because that's a pitch you handle.
Sure.
You just missed it. So I guess the best way to say this is go up there, don't chase, but when you get that pitch in your zone, you need to hunt your pitch. But here's what all this comes down to, Tyler, knowing the strike zone and understanding the strike zone and understanding what you do well and what you don't do well. And it just felt like these guys tied themselves in knots over the weekend.
Yeah, well, and we had a caller that he didn't want to be on the air, but made a point earlier talking about Mining Lee and kind of the strategy at the plate is not a whole lot of small ball stuff, not bunting, not trying to move runners over and stuff like that, because especially for a weekend where, runners were in short supply, you would think maybe they try a little bit harder to move them on the base path and stuff like that when runs were kind of coming out of premium. You just didn't quite see that to the clip that you obviously wanted to, and how much of a control does Mary have over that? Is it all Monty Lee? We don't really know necessarily, but it is still reminiscent in a lot of ways to last year's team, just minus the home runs.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of because to me, I think really good teams do both of those things well.
Yeah.
Because, look, in this world we live in now, if you see a lot of, you need guys who can hit home runs. But you also need to be able to manufacture runs when you're not hitting home runs. You got to be able to put hits together. You got to be able to, do the little things to advance runners, whether it's a guy stealing a bag, you're dropping a bunt, you're hitting and running, or you're basically hitting behind a runner, you're putting the ball in play. There are games where you're not hitting home runs, high-scoring runs. That's why, to me, it's just people who take this one way or the other approach, okay, fine, I hope it works. But to me, I would want my hitters just to be overall good offensive players.
Yeah.
To be able to, a home run, and I read this years and years ago when I was a wee little Terry Ford. There was a guy named Charlie Lau. Charlie Lau was a hitting guru in Major League Baseball. He was a hitting instructor for George Brett and Hal McRae with the Kansas City Royals. He went on to be a hitting instructor with the Yankees, White Sox, whatever. And he wrote a book called The Art of Hitting 300. And he talked about knowing the strike zone, understanding the pitches you're able to hit. And he always said, you want to be able to time it to where you're hitting the ball up the middle. Because if you swing a little early, who knows? You might end up hitting yourself a home run or pulling the ball down the line. If you hit late, you're maybe hitting a line drive over the shortstop's head. Basically, learn to hit in all fields.
Yeah.
And be a good, complete hitter.
Yeah.
And he said home runs usually are an accident, even by power hitters.
Sure.
If you have a good approach and you have good swing mechanics, you're going to hit home runs if you got power. But if you go up there trying to do certain things, you take yourself out of maybe what you can do naturally. And it felt like they were tied in knots. Maybe thinking too much, I don't know, but it was a bad offensive weekend, obviously. Thank you for the text. We appreciate it.
107.5 The Game, broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevy Studios. You can save up to $20,000 on new Silverados. Stop by or shop online today and see how Herndon Chevy makes you smile. Together, let's drive.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, this is Lisa Hostetler-Brown. Do you know the difference between a revocable trust and an irrevocable trust? The difference could easily save you hundreds of thousands of dollars in long-term care costs. Visit lawyerlisa.com to schedule a consultation today.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
Daddy, you need a trust.
Springtime in Columbia. And if you own a business, you too can have the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield. Just ask Mike.
I was watching TV one night and saw the Rhino Shield ad. And I thought, well, if they can do a house, they can probably do a building.
Rhino Shield's not pain, it's better.
So they came out and they gave me a price, showed me how the Rhino works, how it lasts, and how the guarantee works.
Business or residential, get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price.
They waited for us to leave, and they worked Saturday and Sunday so they wouldn't affect our business at all. This was the great part of it. I came back Sunday night, and you couldn't even tell they were here. There was no paint on the ground. They did a fantastic job.
Here's owner Dan Hoey.
This offer is limited, so call today at 833-RHINO-99 or visit RhinoShieldCarolina.com. Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Hey, don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
If you've ever been to a Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union, you know there's something different about the people who work there. They're the type of people who mail a wallet they found on the street back to the owner, who always share their fries, who say bless you when you sneeze, even if it's like 5 sneezes in a row, who get just as excited when something good happens to you as if it happened to them. You know what? Maybe you should just stop by sometime and see for yourself. Palmetto Citizens. Feel the love. Federally insured by NCUA.
NIL is more important than ever to success in college athletics. Our friends at Garnet Trust are trying to build the best NIL program in the country for South Carolina student athletes. Head on over to GarnetTrust.com where you can support Gamecock athletes, get access to exclusive content, and help build the best NIL program in the country.
For appliances with Reliances, that's Jeffers McGill.
Come see the entire line of Whirlpool appliances at 1421 Atlas Road. Whirlpool offers bigger, better, and more efficient appliances, and Jeffers McGill offers the best in customer service and low prices. Jeffers McGill and Whirlpool, your home team.
For appliances with Reliances, that's Jeffers McGill.
What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet. The best selection of new Chevys. Right now. No hassle, no ridiculous add-on stickers. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Your home for the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station. It's 1 o'clock. Time to talk football, and more football. Sponsored by Atlantic Windows and Doors on the Halftime Show, on the Game Network, and on the 107.5 The Game app.
They're gonna put me in the movies. They're gonna make a big star out of me.
We talk nothing but football in the 1 o'clock hour most of the time. Sponsored by Atlantic Windows and Doors here on the Game. We should talk Academy Awards. We never even got to that, man.
I'll pass.
Did you? Now, I'll say this. This is. I didn't watch any of it, by the way. I used to watch all that stuff, by the way, when I was younger.
I can honestly say I've never sat and watched an award show.
And when I did music radio, we would have parties to watch, like the Academy Awards, the Emmys, and people come out, and we used to vote and pick whoever got the most ones right would win stuff and all that other stuff. And I used to know the movies.
Sure.
I used to watch the movies. I didn't see any of them.
Well, that's the thing is about those shows, because it's voted on by SAG, right?
The
Or
Academy.
The Academy, the people within it. So a lot of times, whatever the highest growth, like Wicked didn't win anything, right? Like, and that's like the most popular movie out right now. It's never about, most revenue, who actually did the best job acting. It's like, okay, here's this weird, silent film about, paint drying. That
made in the Netherlands.
Yeah,
by the
made
way.
in the Netherlands that wins all the awards. You're like, I've never heard of that thing.
Well, that's the thing. It's like I've never, and this is not a shot. Hey, look, vote for whatever you want, Academy. I don't care, but I'm like, I've never seen any of these.
Yeah,
I know that. I mean, there were some of the actors. I've never heard of these people. Some of them I've heard of, but I was like Aiden Brody. I know who that guy is.
Sure,
but I'm like some of the people that are winning. I'm like, I've never heard of this person in my life.
Yeah,
and I'm like, wow. Am I out of the loop or what?
I can confidently say I've never watched an award show in my entire life, and I've not lost an ounce of sleep over it.
You know what? You're not missing a lot. Every now and then something weird happens on one of them.
Oh, sure, yeah. But Will Smith will smack Chris Rock, and that'll be crazy for a couple of days, and I'll enjoy the memes that come out of it, but that doesn't make me want to watch the next year.
That's the good news about today's world. If something wacko happens in an award show, you just go watch it on social media. Right,
I can scroll Twitter and get what I need. And I like Conan O'Brien had a good opening monologue or something like that. Like, okay, Gervais a couple years ago where he just roasted everybody. That was funny.
I'm going to tell you what. When Ricky Gervais, that was the
that was right before COVID.
Yeah, and it wasn't the Academy Awards. It was
and that's the thing too. There's a million of these things. There's one every 2 weeks where like, hey, don't forget this award show. I'm like, didn't y'all just have one?
It was the one voted on by the Hollywood Foreign Press votes, and I can't think of it right now.
Can Hollywood not kiss each other's butts enough?
They love it. They'll have a good dinner with open bar. I get it.
They make themselves feel good. They get awards and talk down to people.
Gervais just crushed everyone. And it was so funny. And he gives no whatchamacalls. Oh, yeah. He gives none.
No.
He doesn't care.
No.
And he's one of my favorite comedians. I love Gervais. And the figure, they start to pander the crowd when the joke's made, because a lot of times they weren't laughing.
No, my favorite one was Tom Hanks. Be like, God, the eyes. And
well, remember, Robert Downey Jr. got up and actually, when he got his award, he kind of said something about how Ricky Gervais was like making fun of everybody.
Sure.
I'm sorry.
Well, that's the thing is I don't think the people in the crowd realized that he was. I don't think they all realized he was taking shots at them.
Right.
Because they all went up there and did the exact opposite of what he said.
It's hilarious. It was so funny. But yeah, I'm with you. I don't really watch that stuff. And I obviously don't watch the movies that are up anymore anyway. All right, so football, the 1 o'clock hour, sponsored by Atlantic Windows and Doors here on the game. And we open up the show, Shane Beamer on Capitol Hill talking to Congress. And again, the world of college athletics is just trying to get Congress to give them basically an antitrust exemption.
Yeah.
Or come out with laws that are going to supersede the state laws and make a lot of these things uniform.
Sure.
So states just can't one-up each other in the arms race of getting better players for their athletic programs. Now, I'll say this, Tyler. I would much rather see that than an antitrust exemption, because we know what's going to happen with that. You're just going to try to go back to the old ways.
Yeah.
But if you do set some federal laws on some of these things, like the NIL stuff, to make it uniform to where, like, Texas can't come up with a new law tomorrow so they can get more players. If you want to come up with a law or two like that, okay, I get that.
Sure.
But antitrust exemption so you can just get back to being who you were, no.
Yeah, no, and look, the state law thing, that's become the new arms race, where, again, every state law is trying to add something to the other state laws that have come before it, so you're kind of trying to one-up each other each and every time, and that's become ridiculous. And, again, we do need uniformity across the board, so everybody's kind of playing by the same rules, because that's not happening right now. There's some states where you can pay high school athletes. There's some states where, you can only get so much in NIL and whatever it may be. So, yeah, we need some kind of uniformity across the board. The question is, can you actually accomplish that?
Right. And in case you missed it, you have the intro here where...
Yes, we do.
Where Shane and the folks from South Carolina were introduced...
by Congressman Russell Fry from South Carolina.
There you go. And here's that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm honored to introduce the head football coach of the South Carolina Gamecocks, Shane Beamer. Good to see you, sir. Since taking over as head coach of the University of South Carolina in December of 2020, Coach Beamer has led the program to historic success, securing the most wins through 4 seasons of any coach in the Carolina football history. This past season, Coach Beamer was his most successful yet, guiding the Gamecocks to 9 wins, including a win over Clemson University, I'm sorry, sir, and earning the SEC Coach of the Year honors from both the Associated Press and the USA. You know I had to do this, right? As the son of legendary coach Frank Beamer, Shane has been immersed in college athletics his entire life, which I think is really important to guide us in this discussion today, bringing a deep understanding of the game and the evolving landscape of college sports. This fall, he will open up the 2025 season against Virginia Tech, his alma mater, and the program that his father built, where I fully expect that he will put on full display the SEC dominance in this non-conference matchup. Coach Beamer is uniquely positioned to navigate the challenges of NIL and the ever-changing world of college athletics, ensuring that his players are prepared for success both on and off the field. And I will say, because all coaches seem to be players' coaches, Coach Beamer has made a hallmark of his coaching career to be really focused on the players. And so I think that vantage point is really important today. I want to thank him for his time today and look forward to his testimony. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
There's your intro.
Nope.
Take a little shot at Clemson.
Because Justin Falsinelli, who's the president of the College Football Players Association, went to Clemson, and he was there as well. So I believe that's who he was referencing, like, hey, I had to do it.
Sorry.
Hey, listen, whether it be in Columbia, Clemson, or on Capitol Hill, the rivalry never sleeps.
Never stops. And then Shane was talking about Lenora Sellers and kind of giving a little background on Lenora Sellers regarding, whether it's just the situation of Sellers and NIL and some of the things that Sellers does separate from the NIL.
Going forward, I'll use the example of Lenora Sellers. He's our starting quarterback. He will be a Heisman Trophy candidate next season. He will have an opportunity to play in the NFL. He is currently compensated very well from a name, image, and likeness standpoint. But on his own, he's already reached out to companies in the city of Columbia about doing a summer internship with them. Unbeknownst to me, but here's a young man that understands that football is not going to last forever and wants to do everything in his power to take advantage of the educational experience in Columbia also.
I mean, there you go. I mean, it's just, again, Shane showing the perspective of Lenora Sellers. He's also reaching out for internships to look at his life after football. We've gone over these stats. 1% to 2% of collegiate athletes go on to become professional athletes, and same number with football players. Eventually, 98 to 99% of guys who are playing college football right now are going to be having to do something else and not make the NFL their career. And the shelf life of the average NFL player is roughly 2 to 3 years. That's it. So, yes, this education piece is important, even though we never talk about it. We don't. And the value of that scholarship, it might not mean as much to certain athletes when they're there, but it'll mean more later on in life, especially if some of them come back and finish up their degree later. So, yes, it is an important part of all this. And we just don't talk about it. And we were yipping in the first hour about the value of a scholarship. I get it. I do. I see what it costs a year for a student to go to college. A 4-year university is vile. It just is. Trust me. I know. I'm watching it. My daughter's a junior at the University of Colorado. I see the bill. My son is looking at colleges right now, and he's going to end up going somewhere. I look at him and go, hey, buddy, junior college is a good idea. But no, I mean, a 4-year school, they're just not cheap. One school, and I won't go into to say what school is, was typically a school that's going to cost, cost of attendance is what they call it. And if you deal with this. This school is one of my kids' top choices, would be $90,000 a year. Now, with a bunch of different scholarships and things of that nature, he's going to pay roughly he would pay if he would go there $25,000 a year. And my girlfriend's going, oh, it's only $25,000 a year. I'm like, yeah, multiply that by 4 real quick on your phone. Yeah. It's $100,000. That discount makes it only $100,000 a year. Or $100,000 for 4 years. So what kind of debt are you in coming out? Or what kind of debt is the family in for trying to pay it off to reduce the debt for the kid when he comes out after you get that loan, which, by the way, the percentage rate on that loan is, 162%, because that's a racket, too. So I get it, man. I get the whole thing, the value of that scholarship. I do, and people who bring it up aren't wrong. Especially when you look at the numbers of who's actually going to go play professional sports out of all these athletes who are competing collegiately. But the piece of that and the piece of name, image, and likeness is different. And what you have to give these athletes to play, it's different. And I understand that this model that college athletics is going into is going to put non-revenue generating sports in jeopardy, and that sucks. And it should not do that. But we all know if a business is losing profit, it's going to cut. Because businesses don't like to lose money. Businesses don't go, well, we made $100 million last year. Gosh darn it, we're okay with only making $80 million this year. No. They won't do that. They will, to stay at what they're making, they will cut things and let things go and lay people off or whatever. What's a fancy thing now? Riffing people. It's a nice way of saying you're losing your job. And the non-revenue generating sports are in jeopardy and in danger right now. They are. And that's just not fair. This whole thing is craziness. It just is. But, so, that's Shane on Capitol Hill talking about the model moving forward for college athletics. And, again, college athletics are looking to get help from Congress. All right, we're doing a lot of football here in the 1 o'clock hour, sponsored by Atlantic Windows and Doors here on the game. All right, you heard about what went on with this whole thing of Nebraska, basically, because they're scared to get beat. They decided they're not going to play a home-and-home with Tennessee. Oh, no, I'm sorry. They're remodeling their stadium, and they want extra home games to make up for the revenue. Oh, okay, whatever. So Nebraska's pulled out of the non-conference home-and-home with Tennessee. Also, Wake Forest canceled a home-and-home with Ole Miss. And basically, Greg Sankey is blaming the college football playoff for this. And you're going, huh? Follow me for a minute. Basically, the message that was given from the college football playoff said that canceling these home-and-homes wouldn't make enough of a difference to risk losing that game. Basically, strength of schedule doesn't matter. Strength of opponent doesn't matter. And we saw that this year when the college football playoff put in teams with awful strength of schedules compared to teams with a lot stronger strength of schedules. So Nebraska, knowing they won't get or feeling like they won't get penalized for trading Tennessee for, the Tennessee School of Foot Massage.
Yeah, Southeastern Nebraska Community College.
Yeah, they're not going to get penalized, and to me, that's not right. And I go back to this. I'm not saying this because what happened with South Carolina and Ole Miss and those guys. I'm not saying it because of that. I'm saying because you should be penalized if you play a weaker schedule. If you go out and play weaker non-conference and you make those choices, you should get penalized for it. You just should. All right, football in the 1 o'clock hour, sponsored by Atlantic Windows and Doors on the game.
107.5 The Game in Columbia, 100.5 The Game in Florence, and 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. The Game Network. Everybody loves streaming till you have to pay for it. Just download the 107.5 The Game app and stream us for free. 107.5 The Game, broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevy Studios. You can save up to $20,000 on new Silverados. Stop by or shop online today and see how Herndon Chevy makes you smile. Together, let's drive.
Join us Sunday, March 16th, for a spectacular evening at the Ice House Amphitheatre with Rattle and Hum, the ultimate U2 tribute band, presented by O'Hara's Public House. Experience an electrifying performance that captures the essence of U2's iconic sound and energy. With over 14 years of playing together, watch the musicians of Rattle and Hum bring U2's greatest hits to life. Gates open at 3 p.m. and the music kicks off at 4 o'clock. Secure your tickets online at icehouseamphitheatre.com and prepare for an unforgettable show.
Don't wait. If your HVAC system needs repairs, AAA Heating and Air has a limited time offer just for you. Get up to 12 months. Payment plans on repairs with no credit check required. All you need is to be a homeowner with a valid bank account. This is your chance to stay comfortable without breaking the bank. But hurry, offers like this don't last long. So do what I did and call AAA Heating and Air today. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
BOGO is back at iMart Express.
Come on. Okay.
Right now, for a limited time only, new customers can buy their first pair of glasses and get a second pair free. Plus, with eye exams available and same-day glasses, you'll never miss a moment. It's the kind of savings and service you can really get used to.
Okay.
Find a location near you at imartexpress.com to shop our BOGO event today and see everything we have in store for you. iMart Express. Get glasses. Go see.
Columbia, make this spring the time you stop painting year after year and do what Greg did. He called Rhino Shield.
We live in a beautiful two-story home that was built in 1916. Really been prepped and painted very, very poorly.
And Rhino Shield? It's not paint. It's better.
We really had a lot of detail work in the team at Rhino Shield. They spent really a full 4 days just on the prep work, and we were so excited to see that.
Stop painting year after year and get Rhino Shield right now for 15% off the regular price.
We've gotten numerous compliments, and we've actually even had some of the longer-term residents of our community thank us for protecting the integrity of our home.
Here's owner Dan Hoey.
This offer's limited, so call today at 833-RHINO-99 or visit rhinoshieldcarolina.com. Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Don't paint. Don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Kickstart your day at 9 a.m. with your Carolina Pick-Me-Up. Sponsored by South Carolina's largest injury law firm, George Sink Injury Lawyers. If you're injured, call all nines today.
Get George Sink Law Firm on the line. Call 999-999.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Messaging data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out.
Honey!
What's wrong? I thought you already left for work.
The garage door is broken. It won't open and I can't get my car out. I can't miss this meeting today. Everyone is coming in for it.
Relax. I'm texting OGD right now.
What is OGD?
OGD, Overhead Garage Door. They're the garage door experts in Columbia. Take my car in the driveway and OGD will handle the garage. They have same-day service and they'll get the garage door fixed today, fast and easy.
Wait, with just one text you can get our garage door fixed same day by OGD?
Yes, OGD will get it done no problem. Now, you need to get to work and let OGD worry about the garage door.
Garage door broken, stuck, slow, or squeaky? Text OGD, the only name you need for your garage door. Text TIGHT to 200-300 right now. Text right now and get an exclusive link to special limited time savings. Don't wait. Text the word TIGHT to 200-300 now. Text TIGHT to 200-300.
Hate paying for streaming? Well, the 107.5 The Game app is free. Yes, free. Just download the 107.5 The Game app.
The Halftime Show with Terry Ford and Tyler Head on the Game Network and on the 107.5 The Game app.
Talking about football here on the 1 o'clock hour. Sponsored by Atlantic Windows and Doors here on the Game. Tyler Head, Terry Ford. Real quick, I throw an NFL, a couple NFL things real quick, then we'll get back to college. The Minnesota Vikings, according to reports, are likely not going to tag Sam Darnold.
Okay.
Their starting quarterback from last year. And again, Darnold had the most unexpected, wow, resurrect your career season that you'll ever see last year. Until the last two games where he went back to being Sam Darnold.
Seeing ghosts.
Seeing a lot of ghosts. So my thought was, I'm not signing Sam Darnold to any type of big money deal. I'm not.
Yeah.
If I'm the GM of any team in the NFL, I'm not going to break the bank on Sam Darnold after 1 year.
It's too much of a risk.
It's a massive risk, right?
Again, especially if you're a place that, like ones, and we brought up, Las Vegas, that needs a quarterback but don't have weapons around him like he had a complement of in Minnesota. You don't know if he's going to be the same guy or not.
Right. So, there's no way. I know everybody, the teams need a quarterback, and everybody's starving and desperate for a quarterback, and it's quarter two at the club, and everybody wants to hook up. I get the whole thing, right? I do. But you know what's worse? Throwing a lot of money at the wrong quarterback.
Yes. As we've seen a lot of teams make that mistake. By the way, I'm shocked to see he's only 27. I feel like he's been in the league for 15 years, right?
I know. It feels like this guy's been around since like the turn of the new millennium.
Because he gets drafted by the Jets, starts there for a little while. That goes off the rails, goes to the Panthers. Obviously, that doesn't go well. And, he ends up with the Vikings, obviously. But I really feel like he's been around the league for a lifetime at this point.
Yes. And he hasn't. That's what's sad.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is he has already garnered the reputation of being a journeyman. He's going to be that guy that's going to be around until he's 38 or 40. Likely as a backup somewhere, but has those occasional starts and spurts of like what we saw this past year with Minnesota. But until he proves he can go out there and be that guy for more than 1 year without bona fide superstars around him at the skill spots, I can't trust it.
No, I can't either. I think that, honestly, if you do it, you are so desperate that you're going to go down this route. All right, so if it's me, and you're thinking, here's what we don't know. What they think of J.J. McCarthy.
Right.
Because he was hurt last year.
Again, it seemed to be ready to hand him the keys in the preseason before he got hurt.
So what is J.J. McCarthy? What isn't J.J. McCarthy? That's where we're at. And that's the unknown. Like, you and I don't know. We're not in the building every day at the Viking complex. We don't know what they think, what they don't think, how he looks, how he doesn't look, any of this stuff.
And that's the thing is, again, the option to not tag Sam Darnold. It's like, if you think you can go out there and get something better, go ahead. We'd love to have you back. And it seems like they're willing to re-sign him, but they're not going to back up the Brinks truck to him.
I wouldn't. But what I would do, if I believe in J.J. McCarthy, I'll go for it. I mean, to me, that's like jumping. That's like blindfolding me and telling me to go jump into a pool. I don't know if there's any water in it. I don't know what J.J. McCarthy is, but I will say this: if I am not signing Darnold to any kind of deal where I'm spending a lot of money, I would tag him. It's $40 million for a year on a tag. The Vikings, I just looked this up. The Vikings have $62 million in cap space. Now, you can also redo contracts. You can kick some dudes to the curb to get yourself some cap love because you're going to have to obviously do other things.
Sure.
But I would tag Sam Darnold before I signed him to a longer-term deal. Well, the Vikings don't want to tag him from what we hear.
And let's look at it this way because, and again, it went from what Kirk Cousins to what Josh Dobbs was there for a hot minute. Now I've had Sam Darnold. Maybe Kevin O'Connell thinks that I can kind of plug anybody in my system and make it work. So, yeah, Sam, if you can go out there and get more money going somewhere else, be my guest. We can go out there and get another free agent quarterback that, again, you're ideally going to start J.J. McCarthy, but if you don't feel like he's ready or he has struggles, you can plug somebody else in there and, get you along until McCarthy's where you need him to be.
Yeah, and that might be McConnell might be saying, hey, I made Sam Darnold a quarterback. I can make anybody. So, exactly. I can do anything.
Hey, Ryan Leaf, ready for another go? And make this work.
No. Hi, is this Jamarcus Russell?
Yeah.
Hey, Jamarcus, this is Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota.
Kevin O'Connell may not even be able to help Jamarcus Russell.
That's a disaster. So, at the end of the day, we'll see. But the team that gives Sam Darnold a lot of money, and look, I know $40 million is a lot of money, I get it, but if you're gonna give Sam Darnold any kind of deal that's going to put you in any kind of possible salary cap hell, because you believe in Sam Darnold after 1 year, you're so desperate for a quarterback, you're going to throw a lot of money at Sam Darnold and then do a lot of praying? Okay, wouldn't be me.
Good luck.
And we'll see what the Vikings end up doing here because they got a lot of weapons on offense, and maybe that's what Kevin O'Connell's saying. Look, I can put another guy in here with all these weapons and how good I'm a quarterback whisperer.
Right.
And I can make this happen. All right, back to the college game real quick. As we do football in the 1 o'clock hour, sponsored by Atlantic Windows and Doors. Dabo Swinney was talking.
Yes, he was.
And here's the thing. I agree with Dabo 100%. Here's Dabo Swinney talking about canceling spring games, and is that going to put a stop to this tampering phenomenon?
We're going to have a spring game, and I hope we can have some type of fan day with it as well. I hope. I don't know. We'll see. But, you know, listen, whether you have a spring game or not, it's going to be tampering. You know, ain't nobody going to go look at the spring game and go, oh, yeah, boy, they got PFF. That's called PFF. They got everything on everybody already. So, you know, there's canceling the spring game ain't going to stop tampering. We're going to need a lot more help than that to stop tampering. And hopefully at some point that'll happen. But
he ain't wrong.
Dabo nailed it.
He did.
Yeah, he nailed it.
And what's going to be really funny is when Nebraska has players transfer in April after spring football is over. Then it's be like, well, what's the excuse now? You didn't have a spring game. Nobody could tamper with you. The guy still left. What's going on?
I'm going to say that again. I don't care one way or another about Nebraska football ever. But because of this nonsense by Matt Rule,
it's happening everywhere now.
Well, he opened the door.
He did.
Because now it's okay.
He said the thing a lot of coaches were probably thinking. Now Texas, West Virginia, Alabama, you name it. Or Alabama's going to have theirs, but it's not going to be on TV. Like everybody's falling in line with what Matt Rule said.
Well, because what it wasn't, and I say this all the time, this is about paranoia and control. And that's all it is. You know, again, and limiting access. Because these guys want a bunker where nobody can get in.
Oh, sure.
And this gives you another reason to shut down access, to gain control of the narrative, and because you're paranoid as all get out.
Yeah. Listen, if these guys didn't have to talk to the media, they wouldn't.
They never would.
They would not let you in their facility at all.
They would tase you if you even drove in the parking lot.
Exactly.
So that's why it's refreshing to hear Dabo tell the truth. Look, this doesn't stop tampering. And because of what Matt Rule did, going back to my point, I hope after the spring, 50 players transfer from Nebraska.
Dylan Raiola has entered the transfer portal.
I hope it happens. I hope it happens.
You know, maybe he can go to Texas Tech so he can truly be like Patrick Mahomes because he tries to look like him.
It's a little creepy. Okay, it's a lot creepy.
Hey, T/T's got a lot of money. Mm-hmm. They're spending it.
Look, they got a dude right now whose goal.
Listen, you want to come here? We'll let you wear number 15. Mm-hmm. We'll give you the whole Patrick Mahomes experience. You can even go 6-6.
Matter of fact, you know what we're going to do? We're going to let you wear Mahomes. We're going to put Mahomes on the back of your jersey.
Exactly.
We're good.
You can really be him.
You want to be full blown weirdo? We're in, man. We're in. All right. It's football, more football in the 1 o'clock hour, sponsored by Atlantic Windows and Doors. Where is Nick Eamon-Wari going on mock draft boards after destroying the combine? We'll give you that next here on the Halftime Show. Terry Ford and Tyler Head as we roll up until 3 here on the Gleam in Columbia, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
107.5 The Game in Columbia, 100.5 The Game in Florence, and 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. The Game Network.
Listen to Gamecocks baseball on The Game. And if a Gamecocks batter hits a grand slam,
you could win cash. You could win cash. You could win cash. You could win cash in the Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union Grand Slam giveaway. Go to 1075thegame.com and register. Brought to you by Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union and The Game.
At Atkins Law, we believe who you hire matters, but don't take our word for it. Hear it from our clients.
From the front desk to the paralegals answering my questions to the one I have in my back, I couldn't ask for a better team of professionals.
From our first phone call to meeting Joe in person, I knew I was going to be in good hands.
Holly has a great practice, and her various experiences brings tons of knowledge to each of her clients.
Remember, who you hire matters.
Visit hollyatkinslaw.com.
Hey, this is Ray.
And Mary Ann with Absolute Glass.
We've been blessed to serve the Midlands glass needs for 20 years.
We have been fortunate enough to help thousands of customers with the best glass service in town, in our store, and all over the Midlands.
Sure, we can fix your windshield, usually at no cost to you.
But at Absolute Glass, we can also care for all your other glass needs, too.
Home windows, shower doors, tabletops, shelving, storefronts, and all your commercial needs.
Contact us at 803-951-7200 or at AbsoluteGlassInc.com.
Just remember, if you can see through it, we can do it.
What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet. Check out the Season of Love at South Carolina's #1 volume Chevy dealer. I-26 in Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Together, let's drive.
I know I got good taste, and when I'm in the mood to show it off, you already know I'm going to McDonald's. And with the mix and match deal, showing off has never tasted better. I can choose from the classics like the iconic Big Mac, juicy 10-piece chicken McNuggets, or my absolute favorite, the crispy Filet-O-Fish. Choose any two for just $6. What you waiting for? Head over to McDonald's and show off your good taste. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Single item at regular price.
Let's rodeo at the Cinch World's Toughest Rodeo, March 7th and 8th at Colonial Life Arena. It's rodeo and a whole lot more. Come early for autographs, pony rides, and more. See more action, the best entertainment, and be part of the fun. It's too great to wait. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. It's wild, it's western, it's pro rodeo at the Cinch World's Toughest Rodeo, March 7th and 8th at Colonial Life Arena.
I met my wife in law school at the University of Florida. She was from upstate New York and I was from Kentucky. We met at a daily mass at St. Augustine's. She was the most beautiful girl I'd ever seen in my life. After communion, I followed her out of the church and got her phone number. The rest is history. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Little did we know that one day we would have 4 children and the largest injury firm in the world. All 4 work in the business. It's a family business. Did I ever see this coming? Hell no. We just worked very hard and treated our clients like we would want to be treated, like family. It's a full-service injury firm, auto accidents, medical malpractice, workers' compensation, Social Security, and insurance disputes. We're open 24/7, 365 days a year. Visit forthepeople.com and we can get to work on your case. No recovery, no fee. Morgan & Morgan, for the people. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
What's up, Gamecocks? Ben Cato, third generation owner of Cato's Power Equipment. If you own a lawnmower, one of 2 things is probably true. Either you've been putting it through the ringer, mulching up leaves and pine straw all winter, or you haven't touched it in quite some time. Either way, Cato's can get it tuned up, repaired, and ready to work. Weeds are peeking their heads out of the ground, and warm temps mean grass is about to grow. Don't wait until our shop is full. Visit Cato's today and get your lawnmower and grass cutting tools ready to keep you cutting.
Honey, would you take a seat? I have a confession to make.
What is it? What's wrong?
Well, I was out driving today and I saw some hookers on the side of the road. A bunch of huge, professional, beautiful-looking hookers. So I did what I was supposed to do. I slowed down and I moved over.
You slowed down for the hookers?
Well, yeah, it's the law. There was a whole fleet of Schroeder's towing trucks assisting with an accident. Wait, what did you think I was talking about?
Schroeder's Towing reminds you to slow down and move over for all first responders.
Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town.
What you're talking about, sponsored by Love Chevrolet on the Game Network and the 107.5 The Game app.
Yapping a ton of football in the 1 o'clock hour, sponsored by Atlantic Windows and Doors here on the Game. Tyler Head, Terry Ford, appreciate you hanging out with us as we roll up until 3 o'clock. All right, so Nicky Manwari had himself a combine.
Say the least.
Yep. And so Jason Reed of ESPN, matter of fact, there are people that say that was the best all-around combine by a safety maybe ever since the combine first started. Just by the combination of the 40 time and the long jump and the vertical leap and all the things Manwari did, no safety had ever put together that kind of a combine.
Right.
So where does he end up after, going to the Underwear Olympics? Jason Reed of ESPN put out his new mock draft. We'll talk about the top of it in a minute because it's interesting. Eamon Wari now is the first safety off the board for Jason Reed. Number 20 to the Broncos. Would Jay Phillips have to go change his pants?
Between that, Nate Atkins on offense at tight end. Yeah, I think you'd enjoy that.
Jay would enjoy that. So Nick Eamon Wari going to the Broncos at 20 is projected by Jason Reed of ESPN. Now, Reed did a full 2-round mock. Also in this mock draft, if you go into the second round, you will find at 40, was it in 50s? Let me see. 56. Now, I've seen this before. It's kind of interesting. Second round, T.J. Sanders to the Buffalo Bills.
Okay.
This is an interesting little deep dive stat they have here on Sanders. His 2.4 second average time to first pressure this season led all FBS defensive linemen.
Okay. That's advanced analytics.
That's deep dive right there. Basically.
Sure. But, I mean, it checks out. Sounds correct.
It took him roughly a little under 2.5 seconds to first pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So, basically, he's getting there. He's getting to first pressure quicker than any other defensive lineman in college football. So we talk about how much pressure and heat he brought up the gut, that's why it's so valuable in gold. Quarterbacks hate pressure in their face. They can't step up, and T.J. Sanders brings that. There's a ton of value to that. So seeing Sanders go in the second round wouldn't surprise me at all. Seeing him go in the third round wouldn't surprise me either, but I can see Sanders going in the second round. So he's in this mock. Kyle Kennard and Demetrius Knight aren't, but T.J. Sanders and Nick Eamon Wari are. Now, could I see Kennard going somewhere in the second round? Sure. It feels like Kennard is settling into the third round. Demetrius Knight is moving himself up to where he could be in play in the third round, but Knight will be definitely gone by the fourth round.
Yep.
Got a lot of guys to replace, Tyler.
Well, pretty much the entire defense with the exceptions of a few guys in your secondary.
You got Dylan Stewart and some DBs.
Yeah, pretty much.
Besides that, you got a lot of starters to replace. Now, you got guys who did play last year, but, they've got to step up to another level of performance to become full-time dudes.
Right.
So that was kind of interesting little mock draft from Jason Reed. I'll go to the top of the draft real fast. Reed decided there was going to be a trade at the top of the draft. And that trade would be the Tennessee Titans trading down from 1, which I think they should do. Unless you love Cam Ward. If you think he's truly your guy and you think of him more highly than most and you want to roll the dice and go for it, but the Titans would trade out to the Giants, and the Giants would then take Cam Ward. Okay. I mean, you need a quarterback, God knows, and you don't have a quarterback of the future. If you buy into Cam Ward, go get him. Here's my thing. If you're the Giants and you have scouted Cam Ward and you've watched tape and you've talked to him and you've sent the private investigator to stalk his entire family and you've done all these things.
Yep.
And you love this guy and truly believe he could be a special franchise quarterback in the NFL for eons, go get him.
Yeah.
Go
for it.
But if you're sitting around and you're desperate for a future franchise quarterback, and because you're desperate, you're talking yourself into Cam Ward because you got to go get a quarterback, you're making a mistake. You are making a mistake. You better believe in this guy because a lot of people don't believe Cam Ward is the prospect that all the other guys were last year.
Yeah. Well, and some teams have the problem of not wanting to kind of kick the can down the road, especially for a position like quarterback when you need it right now. Because, again, they don't really have any other option. Do they even have a quarterback on the roster right now? I don't think they do.
They got Tommy.
Oh, yeah, Tommy DeVito. Forgot about that. So for some teams, it's hard to punt and say, you know what? Going to have to wait till next year's class. We'll go out there and try and find a free agent or somebody to bridge the gap between now and then and wait for a more thorough quarterback class to come in 2026. Not as many teams are going to be willing to wait on that.
No, because, again, you have fans buying season tickets and you have people following your team. And if you – see, I understand it. I do. But I've got to do what's best for my team long term.
Sure.
And when I say long term, I'm not saying for the next 5, 10 years. Quarterback's different from everything else. If you get the right guy at quarterback and he can stay healthy, you got him for a long time.
Yeah.
And you have the toughest position to fill to help you compete on a high level. And you'll have it for a while. So to me, I would rather go get the right guy that I believe in than just go get one because I got to get one. Because I'm desperate. You see a lot of bad picks. The Jake Lockers and the Christian Ponders of the world get picked in the first round by desperate teams who are just hoping they can throw enough against the wall and maybe it'll stick and smell.
Right.
And you just can't do it. But someone's going to do it on Cam Ward. And look, could Cam Ward prove everybody wrong and be a big franchise quarterback? Sure. Cam Ward's got an NFL arm. He can make off-script plays. He's mobile. Here's the problem. Cam Ward tries to do things he shouldn't do when he throws the football. And he puts the football and his team in jeopardy. And that's a problem. And there's some other things we won't bore you with that Cam Ward has got to fix if he wants to be a franchise quarterback in the NFL. But if you see past all that and you see the arm and the mobility, and he's played in different systems of offense, and he's thrived and all that other stuff, and you believe in him,
sure,
go get him. You just better be right.
Sure.
So, but with the Giants, I always believe they're just desperate because they're the Giants and they do dumb things. Cleveland is going to sit at number 2, and now Jason Reed believes he'll take Shedeur Sanders. Okay. Again, if you love him and you think he's special and you like him more than everybody else and you believe in him more than everybody else and you've got enough conviction to pull the trigger because you believe in him right there, go ahead and take him. But if you just take him because you need a quarterback, need gets you fired. Drafting for need gets you fired, especially at the quarterback position when you're reaching and hoping. Reaching and hoping is not a plan, bub.
Yep.
It's not a good plan. Abdul Carter would go number 3 to the Titans, who would then, and that's a perfect scenario for the Titans. You trade down to 3, you get some draft capital from the Giants, and you take Abdul Carter because you probably would have taken him number 1 anyway. And then Travis Hunter would go 4 to New England, Mason Graham 5 to Jacksonville. I think Mason Graham's going to be really good. And Ashton Genty, number 6 to the Raiders. I don't know if that's going to happen. We'll see. We'll see. So that's kind of Jason Reed's mock. Going through a little bit of that, but Nicky Manwari 20 to Denver. TJ Sanders was at 58 to Buffalo.
Mm-hmm. Back half the second round.
We got a little Twitter poll. We've been a little lazy on these lately, so we're going to get caught up here. A little Twitter poll action. All right, a bunch of Gamecocks at the Combine, correct?
Yep.
11 of them.
Yep.
So we took 4 out of the 11. And our poll question of the day, which of the Gamecock players at the draft Combine will be the hardest to replace? Ooh. Kyle Kennard, Nicky Manwari, TJ Sanders, Demetrius Knight. So far, thank you. We just put this up here a little while ago. Over 500 folks have voted or viewed. 74 people have voted. Right now, Nicky Manwari, 39%. Kyle Kennard, 27%. Demetrius Knight, then at 23%. TJ Sanders at 11%. Not surprised.
Yeah, you make 4 solid arguments for all those guys.
I'll be honest with you. Out of these 4, I almost think Kennard, even I know you have Dylan Stewart, but I almost feel like Kennard because what Kennard brought to the table opposite of Dylan Stewart.
Yeah, that's true.
But you can make a case for all 4. All right, Firehouse Sub Text the hour next, 803-404-6100 on the Halftime Show with Tyler Head and Terry Ford here on the game.
107.5 The Game in Columbia, 100.5 The Game in Florence, and 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. The Game Network, powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV, sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass, shepherdsglass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV, sponsored by Shepherd's Glass.
This is Andrew Perloff with a Sports Minute. Look out below. Shedeur Sanders is falling in mock drafts. Might not mean anything. He could still go in the top 5. But something has changed in the media perception of the Colorado quarterback. Reporters are sharing negative opinions from their sources in the NFL. Tough to sort through what it means because everyone lies this time of year. But now it seems like a real possibility. Sanders is not the top pick we all expected him to be. I'm Andrew Perloff.
For more than half a century, contractors and trade professionals have relied on WeatherGuard for heavy-duty truck and van storage equipment, not just to protect their tools, but to protect their professional reputations. Whether it's inside or outside of work vehicles, a WeatherGuard badge means pros can trust that their hard-earned name is in good hands. Since 1968 and every day since, WeatherGuard has been protecting anything it takes to build a professional reputation. WeatherGuard, established in 1968, proven every day. WeatherGuard.com.
This is the story of the one. As a quality technician in a food processing center, she knows that making the right call is the best way to avoid a recall. That's why she trusts Grainger's world-class supply chain to deliver the high-quality supplies she needs to help keep her production line, her equipment, and her customers happy and healthy. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this. If something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
This is the story of the one. As a quality technician in a food processing center, she knows that making the right call is the best way to avoid a recall. That's why she trusts Grainger's world-class supply chain to deliver the high-quality supplies she needs to help keep her production line, her equipment, and her customers happy and healthy. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Progressive knows not all rides are smooth. Meet Peter. He loves his motorcycle. What he doesn't love is wind. Which is ironic, because wind is a big part of the whole wind-in-your-face motorcycle cliche. But nobody ever tells you how relentless a strong crosswind is, or the cliche wouldn't exist. Not every ride is smooth, but Progressive has your back. Get a quote to see if you can save with America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in D.C.
Gain a global perspective and specialized skills that many of today's top employers are seeking with an MBA from University of Maryland Global Campus. Study online and complete your degree in just 16 months for about $21K. Choose from MBA specializations in global business, marketing, HR, finance, and more. Classes start March 12th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Now, on the Halftime Show, it's time for our Firehouse Subs Text of the Hour on the Game Network and on the 107.5 The Game app.
Firehouse Subtext, the hour, 803-404-6100. Tyler Head, Terry Ford, a halftime show here on the Game. What do you got, man?
All right. Let's see here. Got Beth weighing in and says, new coach in reference to Palmineri needs to get used to this being the injury capital of college sports.
People get hurt. You always feel like your team is snake bit.
Yeah.
You really do. I know some are snake bit more than others, but
sure. Well,
yep.
Let's just look at the big three sports that we routinely talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Football, 2 years ago, just riddled with injuries, especially on the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Women's basketball this year, you lose Ashlyn Watkins roughly halfway through the season.
Mm-hmm.
Men's basketball, Miles Studi, blood clot, he's out. Jamari Thomas dealt with his injury stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, now you got Lee Croy and Kennedy Jones, Dalton Mayshore dealing with some injuries. So you've already lost Eli Jersenbeck for the year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see it.
She might be up to something.
Might be up to something.
On to something there. All right, we appreciate the text at 803-404-6100 on the halftime show as we do our Firehouse Subtext the hour. All right, we were talking about, Dabo Swinney nailing it, saying spring games don't cause tampering and canceling spring games aren't going to stop tampering, which we agree totally with Dabo Swinney. Here's Paul Feinbaum on our sister station, Jocks in Birmingham, talking about teams canceling spring games and not showing them on TV.
Yeah, I mean, I understand it like you do, but I also think it's somewhat disappointing for fans because, Cole, I don't need to tell you how many times on the Monday after an Auburn or Alabama spring game, somebody called you and knew more than you did because they saw the spring game. And they saw this wide receiver do or running back do unbelievable things. I mean, I always used to laugh because I think we read too much into it. But it was an inflection point of the spring. Now it's not. I think the most important thing for spring games is for fans to participate. Now, again, you can. A lot of these young guys who are walk-ons and they have the biggest moment of their career in a spring game, and that's on national television too, by the way. But ultimately, I think we are just in a different era now when coaches are far more paranoid than they've ever been. And the idea that someone was going to glean something from a spring game is pretty laughable. But I'll also say this in terms of the networks, Cole, and you know this because you've done all these games. These games were not exactly being showcased anymore. I mean, I think last year I think Alabama may have been one of the few SEC schools, if the only one, that was actually on network television. Most of them have been moved to digital. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but they're not quite getting the showcase they were 15 or 20 years ago.
Oh, I mean, okay. Okay. I mean, I get that, but I don't think that's a reason not to have them.
Yeah.
But, again, what Paul Feinbaum said, I do agree with it. It's laughable to think that some team is deep diving into your spring game. Because, again, like I said, Dow Loggins was the first one to go, hey, man, it's vanilla, baby. You're going to get a big old dose of vanilla ice cream for the next 2 hours.
Or it's supposed to be, or, again, there's nothing you can glean from and say, wow, I like the way that guy looked.
That guy, man, we got to go tamper with that dude. It's asinine. It just is. And you can put lipstick on it all you want and try to make it sound like it's not. That's fine.
Yep.
But this is just, again, and Paul said it, paranoia. Paranoia, control, limit access.
Yep.
Those are three things a lot of coaches want to do, and now possibly the poster boy for paranoia and control and blocking access, Matt Rule, he's given them their roadmap now, how you can handle it.
And again, Matt Rule doesn't care what everybody else does. He's concerned about his program and, was the first one to set things in motion, and now everybody else kind of followed suit.
Yep, because now they got, now I got it. Now I can do this. Thank you, Matt Rule.
Yep.
Thank you, Matt Rule. Yeah, thanks a lot, Matt Rule.
And at least for now, it doesn't sound like Dabo's going to get rid of it. And we've not heard Shane directly reference this. He's not been asked about it. I would imagine he doesn't want to, but again, we have not heard directly from the horse's mouth yet.
Shane's the guy that wants to play another team in an exhibition game.
Yeah, which that was the conversation we had last year leading up to spring games. Hey, how can we make this better? And again, now we're in the complete other direction.
How can we save it? We'll take what it is. Just I'm not going to go back into it for a 15th time, but the people that once again get screwed are the fans.
Yep.
And that's the way that it goes in today's world of sports. Just give us your money and shut your mouth, and whatever we give you, you enjoy. Whatever crumbs we give you, you go, gee, thank you. Thank you so much for the crumbs. That's that. And even though if it wasn't for the fans, none of these folks would be making all the money they make.
Yeah, pretty much.
So anyway, it just makes me shake my head. All right, that's football in the 1 o'clock hour, like always, sponsored by Atlantic Windows and Doors. We're going to throw a little football in what's trending at 2. You know why North Carolina football might have been on Hard Knocks?
Why is that?
Well, I'll tell you when it's trending at 2.
Okay.
It's very interesting. Also, bad news. I tell you what, the Dallas Mavericks, I'm not a superstitious guy, but sometimes you open the door for karma. Karma brings its family. We'll get into that, too. It is the halftime show. Tyler Head, Terry Ford going till 3 on the game.
107.5 The Game, broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevy Studios. You can save up to $20,000 on new Silverados. Stop by or shop online today and see how Herndon Chevy makes you smile. Together, let's drive.
Hey Gamecocks, Ben Cato, third generation owner of Cato's Power Equipment, with some great news for anyone looking to add some new lawn equipment to their garage or trailer. Just in time for spring, we've got awesome financing options that let you spread your Steel, Toro, or Gravely equipment purchase out over 3, 4, or even 5 years with no interest. For any budget, any yard, Cato's Power Equipment has the best equipment around, with top-notch service to back it up. Come shop our huge selection of zero turns today.
There's one way to stop the IRS from moving forward against you. That's to have an experienced attorney who understands the law and your rights. Hi, I'm local attorney John Ecton with the Ecton Law Firm. When you hear these so-called national tax resolution companies telling you your IRS problems can go away, ask yourself, does it sound too good to be true, or am I just talking with a salesperson? Will a licensed attorney handle my legal problem? An IRS problem is a serious legal matter. Don't trust your tax problems to some out-of-town TV spokesperson. Come meet with me in person, and together we'll take control. We've helped thousands of individuals and businesses with tax problems right here in South Carolina. Your first visit is completely free and confidential. So if you're facing IRS wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, call me, John Ecton, at 803-771-9800. That's 803-771-9800. Or go to EctonLawFirm.com. If you're a Carolina resident and you have an IRS problem, hire a Carolina attorney. Hire me, John Ecton.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, HIMS can help. Through HIMS.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/radio, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but HIMS can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
Is your home looking a little dull and drab from a long, cold winter? Well, good news. Lucky's Pine Straw can get your home in shape for spring. We offer full installation of longleaf pine straw and mulch in a variety of colors. DIYers, stop by and see us at 3119 Sunset Boulevard in West Columbia. No truck, no problem. We offer free delivery within the Columbia area. That's LUCKIES, Lucky's Pine Straw. Make it a lucky day.
Are you considering a new roof or repairs but unsure where to start? Crescent Construction offers free roofing estimates to help you make informed decisions with ease. Our expert team is ready to assess your needs and provide comprehensive insights. Visit our website, crescentcarolina.com, to learn more about our services and schedule your free estimate today. Trust us to guide you through the process with professionalism and care. Don't wait. Contact us today at crescentcarolina.com.
Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union presents scenes from Palmetto Citizens job interviews.
Tell me, Emily, what makes you the right fit for our vice president of Getting Pumped role?
Well, I have 8 years of banking experience, and helping people get great rates makes me super excited.
Oh, can you elaborate?
Yeah, sometimes it's like a woo. Other times it's more of a oh, yeah.
Wow. Just wow.
Palmetto Citizens. Feel the love. Federally insured by NCUA.
Your home for the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station. What's trending at 2 on the halftime show, sponsored by Traditions Fine Jewelry and Gamecock Traditions on the Game Network and 107.5 The Game app.
Halftime show, what's trending at 2. Terry Ford, Tyler Head here on the game. What's trending is some basketball and baseball to be played here in our little burg this evening. We'll start off with hoops. South Carolina hosting Georgia. 5:30 pregame, 6 o'clock tip. Georgia rolling around that bubble with a few other SEC teams. And really, to me, if you just look at the resume right now of the bubble squads in the SEC, Georgia should be in. They beat Florida and Tennessee in the last, week and a half. They got a win over St. John's, who won the Big East.
Yep.
And they have no terrible losses. They don't have a North Florida loss on their resume. All their losses are quad one teams.
Yeah, I guess you'd say their worst loss is probably Arkansas, and that was the beginning of the season, or beginning of the conference slate at least. But yeah, everything else past that been pretty strong. And they beat Carolina in Stegman back at the end of January. But again, for the last 2 games, at least at home, it's been a house of horrors for Team on the Bubble with Texas and Arkansas. And it's not just that Carolina beat them; they beat both those teams thoroughly.
Fast starts and whooped them.
Yeah,
and so. Georgia, again, if you don't come in, if you don't play well dealing with South Carolina on their home court and you let South Carolina get up on you early, you've got a chance to take an L. You just do. And, again, go back to that Arkansas game. But one thing because I said yesterday, I just want to kind of change my point as I watched some of it today. I said I didn't know why Arkansas didn't full court press more in that game. And so as I'm watching the game, they tried a couple times, but one of the biggest problems is it's tough to full court press if you can't make a shot.
Sure.
So to be fair, they were so bad shooting the rock that they couldn't put pressure. But I'll be honest with you, Tyler, I'd have gotten so desperate, I'd have half court trapped them all, South Carolina everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm watching that replay of that Arkansas game, and Colin Murray-Boyles is dribbling through Arkansas like they're 5 cardboard cutouts in the lane.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody, it's almost like they were scared to touch him because they were allergic to him. I mean, it was Colin Murray-Boyles just tore him up. And so did Nick Pringle on the inside because, let's be honest, Arkansas is soft. Georgia is not as soft on the inside. Asa Newell's a very nice player as a freshman. A lot of people think he'll end up being a first-round pick in the NBA draft if he comes out. Georgia and the kid Demery's a good three-point shooter. The point guard, again, Georgia's really good scoring inside the three-point line. They're good getting to the free throw line. They're good rebounding their misses. They're a solid defensive team. They're a good basketball squad. But, again, if you don't come in and play well, if you're not sharp, you can lose tonight to South Carolina.
Sure.
And I'm hoping the formula, even though, again, Georgia's not as soft on the inside as Arkansas, if I'm South Carolina, you got to play to your strength. And that's your inside guys. Go back and play to your strength until Georgia takes it away from you.
Yep.
To me, it's that simple tonight. And speaking of defensive effort against Arkansas, which South Carolina gave a phenomenal defensive effort against the Razorbacks. Here's Lamont Paris talking about the defensive performance of his team this past weekend.
Yeah, I mean, a couple tremendous effort, but we've had other games where I thought our effort was good, and we didn't yield the results. But it was not only tremendous effort, it was, all right, here's what we're trying to do. Here are some things that we've been talking about. I think anyone that's listened to these press conferences or anything on the radio or my radio show, you've heard me talk about these actions. Most of them are on the defensive end, but not all of them, that you can perform consistently, and if 100 times they happen, you should be in the low to mid 90s on how many times you recognize them and perform them accurately. And today was very, very high. It's on the bench. It's so obvious, and it's not even, forget what the scoreboard is saying or if they're missing shots or whatever that looks like. That's a byproduct of consistently doing these things. I think missed shots are a byproduct of doing these things. And it was just how many times guys were doing doing, helping early, putting a body on a guy on a block out, getting into a gap, making a KYP, know your personnel decision that was exactly right in line with what the scouting report said. We were lights out in that category defensively.
Yeah, I mean, they were just really good on the defensive end of the court. And that led to also the combination of playing really good defense and Arkansas bricking shots all over the place. And Arkansas just not running great offense. But South Carolina also getting in the Razorbacks' grill on D. And that coupled with getting the ball to your strengths and attacking Arkansas's softness in the paint, South Carolina just rolled Arkansas. So we'll see what happens tonight. 5:30 pregame, 6 o'clock tip. South Carolina hosting Georgia at CLA. All right. Also, Joe Lunardi put up his top 8 seeds. The top 4 seeds are Duke, Houston, Auburn, Tennessee right now. Doesn't really shock or surprise you. I mean, could Florida have an argument to be the 4th number 1 and Tennessee go on the 2 seed line? Yeah. But to me, there's 3 clearly best teams in America, and that is Duke, Auburn, Houston. To me, that's the top line. And then the second line, you have Tennessee, you have Alabama, you have Florida, and some other teams through America as well. But those 3 teams, I think, are the best 3 in America. And if all 3 make it to the Final Four, wouldn't surprise me. Obviously, if one wins a national title, it wouldn't surprise me. Because, I mean, look, watching Duke, and look, I grew up being taught not to like Duke in any way, shape, or form.
Sure.
But they can play, man. And Cooper Flagg, he's a real deal. And think about this for a minute. He reclassified.
Yeah.
Cooper Flagg right now, if you see what he's doing at Duke and how he's abusing folks, he should be abusing folks as a senior in high school.
Yeah, he'll be getting that name called pretty quickly.
Oh, real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick. Cooper Flagg, and look, he's not Victor Wembanyama, who Wembanyama was just a freak of nature. He's not that guy. But Cooper Flagg, if he keeps on the path he's going, is going to be a heck of an NBA player.
Sure.
I mean, he plays both ends of the court. He can shoot it. He can pass it. He's learned how to create his own shot. He blocks shots. He plays D. I mean, and look, they followed his lead at Duke. Those guys are guarding folks. So he's got a leadership component to him as well. Houston gets in your face, and they can shoot this year. They shoot threes. If you've watched Auburn play, Auburn can walk on the court and go how he wants to beat you. Pick it. We'll play fast. We'll play slow. We'll play inside. We'll play outside. Why don't you guys write the list of how you want us to beat you and bring it across the court, and we'll just thump you. To me, the best 3 teams in America. So that's Joe Lunardi's deal with the top seed line. Again, Auburn, Houston, Duke, Tennessee. And of course, that can obviously change. All right, it's in just in the last half an hour. The settlement is done. The ACC Board of Directors agreed today to a new revenue distribution model and a significantly reduced exit fee for any member wanting to leave the conference before 2036. And in return, Florida State and Clemson have agreed to the settlements. So it's all moving forward now. And look at some of the particulars of this. Yeah, Jim Phillips is talking. I'll just skip over that. But I'm trying to find the numbers here. I'm looking for the exact number of getting. Okay, here we go. Currently, any school that wants to leave before June 2036 must pay 3 times the operating budget, a figure to be about $120 million, plus control of that team's media rights. The new revenue distribution model, or brand initiative, will be based on a 5-year rolling average. 60% of the total ACC television revenue will go toward this initiative. More weight will be given to more recent viewership. A team's total viewership will then be divided by the total ACC viewership to equal its percentage of the money available to its pool. The other 40% of the television revenue will be distributed evenly among the other league schools. Did you understand any of that?
It means the big brand's going to get more money, essentially. The more people tune in and watch your specific program, the better off you're going to be. And again, this is how you had to appease them. And it's not going to put them necessarily on par with SEC and Big Ten schools, but it creates a separation between the top and the bottom of the ACC, which, again, for the time being, to alleviate the stress that this was putting on the conference of two of your biggest brands trying to leave, it at least quells that for now.
And the exit fee now will be $165 million. Again, it's a lot of change. It's not $500 million, but it's $165 million. The fee will decline by $18 million per year, leveling it at $75 million in 2030-31. Any team that pays the exit fee can leave with its media rights in hand. And my favorite line, Grant Neff at Clemson, the ACC is an excellent fit for Clemson. The academic prestige and reputation we so emphasize here at Clemson is a natural fit with other members of the ACC. Then why'd you want to leave, Grant?
They finally made it worth your while, to some degree.
Mm-hmm. Basically, ready? We didn't want to leave the ACC. We just want more money.
Sure.
And we were going to leave the ACC to get more money.
And look, I get it. It's a business at the end of the day. You are trying to maximize the profit of your program. And Clemson didn't like what they were getting in the ACC. They felt like they should be getting more compared to some of the other schools that were on even footing with them. And this, in addition to what they kind of did this past year with the postseason incentives, is going to benefit schools that are more successful and do garner more attention.
And look, the SEC doesn't do this. The Big Ten doesn't do this. The Big 12 doesn't do this. But the ACC put themselves in a bad spot because of the grant of rights.
Yeah.
And by the way, whose idea was the grant of rights? The schools.
Yeah, who signed it twice.
The schools.
Which is again, why it was so ironclad and locked through 2036, because it said, hey, if you guys want this, if you want your own network, this is what you're going to have to do. And everybody signed off on it. And obviously, the other leagues have renegotiated television contracts since then and left the ACC in the dust.
And so then Clemson and Florida State said, wait a minute. This does not really fit financially. We didn't sign up for this. Yeah, you did.
You literally did.
You signed up for this. But now it's almost like a meet in the middle, right?
Sure.
Okay, we're going to drop our lawsuit. Okay, we're going to put together a new distribution model so you can get more money. Let's say you get $15 million more. Okay, you're still not going to be getting SEC or Big Ten money, but you're getting more than you were getting. In return, also, we're going to bring this grant of rights thing down significantly, and then you're going to drop your lawsuit and you'll stay in the league and blah, 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 blah. So that's basically what you got here. All right, one other thing from football. Hard Knocks was going to, for their second, because they do 2 seasons of Hard Knocks every year.
Mm-hmm.
Season 1 is the New York Giants. Season 2 was going to be nobody, because basically no NFL team elected to participate for that next edition. So HBO went, screw it. You know what would be interesting? Bill Belichick and the North Carolina Tar Heels.
Yep.
Now, there are people in the NFL who didn't like this idea, but basically HBO and NFL Films went, okay, give us a team. You can't. North Carolina, though, and the Hard Knocks folks, the deal fell through, and the reason being creative control. I guess Bill wanted creative control, and HBO was like, well, why don't we sit down and talk about what we're willing to give you, and then it just didn't work. So this thing is done. But what's interesting to me is the fact no other NFL team stepped up. And remember, the NFL was making teams do this. And remember, there was a criteria, like if you haven't been on for X amount of time, you haven't made the playoffs or whatever. But now these teams are like, and I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't do it either.
It's a distraction.
I wouldn't want that distraction at all while I'm trying to have training camp. But look, there's no evidence that it hurts you or helps you or any of that stuff. But I wouldn't want it if I was a head coach or a franchise. No, thank you. So now the NFL's having a tough time getting teams to step up. I totally understand. All right, what's trending at 2, sponsored by Traditions Fine Jewelry and Gamecock Traditions. Bad news for the Mavericks. Double dose of it next here on the Halftime Show on the Game.
107.5 The Game in Columbia, 100.5 The Game in Florence, and 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. The Game Network. Hate paying for streaming? Well, the 107.5 The Game app is free. Yes, free. Just download the 107.5 The Game app. 107.5 The Game, broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevy Studios. You can save up to $20,000 on new Silverados. Stop by or shop online today and see how Herndon Chevy makes you smile. Together, let's drive.
At Midlands Orthopedics and Neurosurgery, we realize that unexpected orthopedic injuries require easy access to specialty care. That's why we now offer the HURT mobile app to give you live expert advice 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for free. With the HURT app, you're never alone with your injury, and a team of experts is just a tap away. Download the free HURT, that's H-U-R-T, mobile app from Midlands Orthopedics and Neurosurgery today.
Don't miss Aaron's 70th anniversary celebration all March long with 7 amazing deals, each under $70 a month, like a beautiful Woodhaven Shea sofa or a powerful HP laptop. Bring them home today, then pay your way over time with no long-term commitment. Plus, one penny gets you started on name brand appliances, electronics, and furniture. Explore the deals at Aaron's.com or your local Aaron's store. Don't wait. Aaron's anniversary sale ends March 31st.
Approval not guaranteed. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother was saying he got life insurance from Ethos. With Ethos, it only took 10 minutes, and he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Build monthly.
This is Bill Gunn for Old Timey Meat Market. I spend my nights with my son, my daughter, enjoying cooking out with Old Timey Meat Market foods. And you need to visit one of their 3 locations, St. Andrews, South Congaree, and Lexington, where you'll find their shelves stocked with various cuts and grades of beef, pork, poultry, seafood, and of course, exotic meats. Selections are always fresh, never frozen, competitively priced, and of the absolute highest quality. So get all of your needs at Old Timey Meat Market.
Old Timey Meat Market. Quality selection, a cut above the rest. Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, this is Lisa Hostetler-Brown. If you or a loved one are over 65 and haven't completed a long-term care planning consultation, now is the time. Did you know that if you aren't able to afford the high cost of skilled care, your assets can be rapidly depleted to only $2,000 unless you plan 5 years in advance? Visit lawyerlisa.com to see how we can help.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet. The best selection of new Chevys. Right now. No hassle, no ridiculous add-on stickers. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Together, let's drive.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pegol is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Paid for by Estella's Pharma.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Glass.
What's trending at 2 on the halftime show, sponsored by Traditions Fine Jewelry and Gamecock Traditions on the Game Network and 107.5, the Game app.
That Tennessee-Alabama game from the weekend's on. God, it was such a good game.
Getting down to the
nitty-gritty.
Last couple seconds
coming.
here.
Well, Bama goes up by 4. Tennessee gets the and 1 opportunity. Alabama should have won the basketball game. They really should have.
Yeah.
I give Tennessee props, don't get me wrong, but Alabama had that game won and went
Yeah, and Nate Oates took responsibility after the game, saying I didn't put my guys in the best position to win, and I think what Rick Barnes was trying to call a timeout. He wasn't even looking at the shot when it went up, and it banked in.
Yep, he wanted a timeout, and so he's lucky he didn't get it.
Yeah.
Because that would have wiped out the buzzer beater.
You go from being really angry to really happy. Why is nobody paying attention to me?
Nothing to see here. I didn't have my hands up for a timeout, I swear.
I'm glad it's one of those things you can't review.
Oh,
wait,
yeah.
did he call the
Could you see
timeout?
Nate
Did he
Oates?
call the timeout before the shot got off?
Could you see Nate Oates pointing out, I want to challenge, I want a timeout.
That'd be a tough way to lose.
Yeah. And, again, watching this game, Alabama not boxing out on the missed free throw, up by 2. And just, Alabama really shot themselves in the feet at the end of this game. They really did. They had multiple opportunities to win. And I get what Nate Oates is saying. He's not wrong, but also his players didn't execute at the end.
Yep.
Remember, Tennessee got the ball back because of a turnover. So it was a really good game, though. Excellent game. You see right there again, Bama doesn't box out, and Tennessee gets the ball and goes back to the line. But anyway, so just a fun game to watch was Alabama-Tennessee over the weekend. Was trending at 2, sponsored by Traditions Fine Jewelry, Gamecock Traditions. Don't forget now, the over-under contest from Gamecock Traditions is still going on. Just go to 1075thegame.com, click on the contest, and then pick the over-under. This week, the over-under is over-under win total of the Gamecock women at the SEC tournament. Over-under win total 2.5. I'm going with the over. It's an interesting over-under because if you go with the over, it means they win the SEC championship.
Yeah, 2 wins get you there. 3 wins wins the whole thing. Feel pretty confident in 2. Again, are you rematching with the Texas as 1 and 2 again? And how does that go? But I'd take the over. I feel good about it.
I do too. And look, you got Texas in your barn. Texas got you in their barn. Texas does, again, physicality in the paint has been a problem for South Carolina to go up against. Texas has that. Didn't bother South Carolina in game 1. Remember, they got off that great start, and defensively, they swallowed up Texas.
Yeah.
And Texas shot terribly from the floor. But the second game, Texas kind of imposed their style of play, and the game was close, but Texas felt like they had a handle on it for the most part.
Sure.
So I'm going to go over 2.5 because we've seen that play before. We've seen that movie before.
I'll take it as well.
I'll go 2.5. I'll go with the over. All right, you go to 1075thegame.com and you click on the contest, and you do another click, and you get to what you need to do to pick the over/under. All right, so Carolina baseball on our sister station, 98.5 WOMG, tonight. 6:15 pregame, 6:30 first pitch, taking on Davidson. Paul Maneri, I was talking to the media on the postgame show, talking to one person in the media, Elijah Campbell, on the postgame show yesterday here on the game. Discuss a couple different things I want to hit. First of all, obviously the Gamecocks have struggled offensively near the bottom of the SEC in pretty much all offensive statistical categories that matter. Here's Coach Maneri talking about why this team is struggling at the plate. Cut 3, Tyler.
Yeah, we just didn't make good adjustments at the plate. They especially when they brought in the Allen kid yesterday. He threw nothing but sliders to us, and we just kept swinging through them. And I felt like we just didn't make the adjustment. And the coaches are the ones that take the fall for that. The players, are up there and they need our help. And we discussed it with them, and I don't know why, but we just didn't make the adjustment adjustment. We knew he was going to throw a bunch of breaking balls, and we were just swinging on over top of them all. And he ended up striking out quite a few of our batters during that three-inning stretch that he pitched. Outside of that, I thought we hit a couple of balls hard, but right at people. But listen, Clemson's a highly ranked team for a reason. Their pitching staff did a great job. And, whenever you don't hit, you wonder, is it because we didn't hit well, or was because the other team really pitched well? And sometimes you got to give credit where credit is due. I think it was a little bit of each, and it's a learning experience for our team, and we're going to have to bounce back. That's all we can do at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting. From a fan perspective, it's always your guys didn't hit. It's never the, you know what, that pitching staff they shut us down. Give them props. No, it's always, what did my team do crappy? It's the way we are. We're fans.
And again, you got to give credit. Clemson's a very good team. They're ranked as high as they are for a reason. And we looked at the numbers coming in. That staff wasn't setting the world on fire necessarily, but that's the thing about good teams. Eventually they hit their groove, and they seem to do that this weekend.
I mean, again, they made every pitch that mattered. They got every big hit that mattered. When it was time for when you had those moments in all three games where one team had to make the play, it was Clemson that made the play. So you give them their props, but you also sit back and go, well, you better get this offense thing straightened out, fellas.
Yep.
Because you're going to be playing a lot of good teams in the SEC. All right, here's also Paul Mainieri talking about rough stretches. Now, again, we forget something. Going into the Clemson game, what was South Carolina's record?
9-0.
Mm-hmm. And now everything 180 from 9-0 and this and that and the other, and everything's all wonderful, to losing 3 in a row to Clemson, and the world's come to an end. So here's Paul Mainieri, though, talking about rough stretches over his coaching career. Cut 4, Tyler.
Well, unfortunately, I've had a lot of rough stretches throughout my career, But, I've always said that, when you have adversity, when some negative things strike your team, that's really when the coach earns his paycheck. It's easy to coach kids and teams when everything's going great. It's when you face a little bit of adversity of when the true character of people show up. And it's my job to keep the guys believing in themselves, keep them working hard, keep them enthused and confident about the season. And I don't have any doubt that that's going to happen. I honestly didn't anticipate winning the first 9 games of the season. Baseball is just that way, but, we get a grand slam from Jace Wood when it's 35 degrees and raining, and we win one game and avoid a disaster, so to speak. But baseball is a very humbling game. And, this weekend I thought we were well prepared, excited, confident.
It is. Look, you go through the peaks and the valleys and all these other things, and, you lose 3 in a row. Like Paul Mainieri said, I didn't expect to win the first 9. So we've lost 3 in a row, and we've talked about this through the last couple of days. Paul Mainieri's teams get better as the season goes along, historically. We hope that's the case here as well.
Hot take, you're going to lose some more games.
No, you're not.
Between now and the end of the season.
Another game rest of the year.
It's going to happen. And you're probably going to lose a series or 2 in the SEC just based on how good the league is, the law of averages. I don't think there's anybody that's going to run roughshod and win every single series.
You are such a hater.
Just being real. Again, we talk about if you have 500 in conference play, you're probably good to make the tournament.
Oh, yes, you absolutely.
Yeah, you're in good shape.
No doubt. What's trending at 2, sponsored by Gamecock Traditions Fine Jewelry. So the Dallas Mavericks decided they want to raise ticket prices after trading their iconic generational talent to the anger of the fan base, coming off a trip to the NBA Finals, and making that deal, saying, well, we want to make sure the culture is this or that, basically saying that the culture that Luka Doncic was not good for your culture.
Sure.
Okay. And then you make this trade.
Yeah.
And the guy you trade for, the centerpiece, Anthony Davis, is hurt. And you decide you want to raise ticket prices 8 or 9%. And you told your angry fan base that.
Yes.
How do you think that's going?
Well, I love when the restaurant takes my favorite thing off the menu and decides to charge me more for the other things that I'm not as excited about on the menu. That really makes me want to go to that restaurant.
Absolutely. And now Kyrie Irving's injured, out for the year, tore his ACL. So you don't have Anthony Davis, you don't have Kyrie Irving, you don't have Luka Doncic. And and we're going to get back to this story about the tickets at some point, but tone deaf.
Oh, 1,000%.
Tone deaf. All right, greatest day in the history of the world, which is March 4th, coming up next here on the Halftime Show with Terry Ford and Tyler Head on the Game.
107.5 The Game in Columbia, 100.5 The Game in Florence, and 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. The Game Network.
Listen to Gamecocks baseball on The Game. And if a Gamecocks batter hits a grand slam,
you could win cash. You could win cash. You could win cash. You could win cash in the Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union Grand Slam giveaway. Go to 1075thegame.com and register. Brought to you by Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union and The Game.
Columbia, Josh loves the spring, but he hates to paint, so he called Rhino Shield.
We have a cedar-sided home at the edge of the woods, painted like 1980s beige. We wanted something that was more of a mid-century and modern look. We were driving around and we saw a sign in somebody's yard that said Rhino Shield. It's not paint.
It's not paint, it's better.
We gave Rhino Shield a call, and they were fantastic with the arrangement on the schedule. The 25-year guarantee was important to us. This is our forever home, and we want to make sure that whatever we're doing is going to last a long time.
Columbia, get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield now for 15% off the regular price.
I'd say if you're thinking about Rhino Shield, just do it. It's been 2 years now, and it still looks like the day it went on.
Here's owner Dan Hoey.
This offer's limited, so call today at 833-RHINO-99 or visit RhinoShieldCarolina.com. Don't paint.
Don't vinyl. Go Rhino.
No paint. Don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Get ready to smile because Herndon Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy dealer, is offering an amazing deal right now. Get up to $20,000 off new Silverados. Yes, you heard that right. Up to $20,000 off. Don't wait. Head over to HerndonChevy.com today and drive home in the truck of your dreams. Chevy, together let's drive.
Herndon Chevrolet. Herndon makes you wanna smile.
Call 803-510-5447 for complete details.
Firehouse Subs has partnered with Hot Ones to introduce 2 new limited-time subs. The Zesty Garlic Hook and Ladder features Hot Ones garlic Fresno hot sauce, crispy garlic chips, and marinated onions for a milder heat.
The Spicy Dill Hook and Ladder takes it up a notch with the Last Dab Pickle, a dill pickle marinated in Reaper hot sauce. Both subs are served on the classic hook and ladder you know and love with piled high smoked turkey, honey ham, melted pepper jack cheese, lettuce, and tomatoes.
Order both subs today at a Firehouse Subs near you.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing, and for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
Let's rodeo at the Cinch World's Toughest Rodeo, March 7th and 8th at Colonial Life Arena. It's rodeo and a whole lot more. Come early for autographs, pony rides, and more. See more action, the best entertainment, and be part of the fun. It's too great to wait. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. It's wild, it's western, it's pro rodeo at the Cinch World's Toughest Rodeo, March 7th and 8th at Colonial Life Arena.
Get a free second pair of glasses with insurance at iMart Express. Now with an upgraded selection of over 150 frames to choose from. Pick one for when you're busy doing nothing, and one for when you're up for anything. Plus, with free same-day speed, go from booking an eye exam to walking out with new glasses in a blink. So you can take your vision benefits further, faster. iMart Express. Get glasses, go see.
Enjoy up to 70% off premium products, designer handbags, gift cards from national chains, autographed sports memorabilia, cruises, hotel accommodations, and more. SweetDeals.com. Click Premium.
Show. It's the greatest day in the history of the world. On the Game Network and the 107.5 The Game app.
Time for the greatest day in the history of the world, which is March 4th. Old school, like we always do, Tyler. This day, 1960, Phil Latrell of Middlebury scores an NCAA record 10 goals in a hockey game. Middlebury won 13-2 over Colgate. Latrell was a three-time All-American, would score a record 250 goals in the 85 games of his collegiate ice hockey career. Guess how many games old Phil played in the NHL?
I'm going to go 0.
Oh, you just missed it. 4.
Okay.
4 games in the NHL.
By the way, Middlebury's now D3.
Oh, really? Okay.
Actually, pretty good legacy. They won 1, 2, 3, 4. They won 8 national championships between 1995 and 2006.
Really?
Pretty good legacy of hockey.
Little hockey juggernaut there. Our boy Phil, his senior year, scored 80 goals and recorded 108 points. That was a record back then. Played 4 games in the NHL for the New York Rangers, then played in a bunch of different minor leagues after that.
By the way, they had one Olympian, Dates Freiberger.
Oh, you remember Dates?
Was a part of the 1964 Winter Olympics team. There's no mention of what's our boy's name?
Phil.
There's no mention of Phil on the Wikipedia page.
No, nothing.
Not even after that performance. Nope.
Wow.
Dates Freiberger, who is still alive, by the way, 84 years old.
You know what? It's not a bad first name.
His real name's Dayton, so Dates is the nickname.
All right, you got a choice of going with Dayton or Dates. Where are you going?
Probably go Dates.
Yeah, me too.
Is that like if you're like a ladies' man, you're just getting dates? Like, oh, look at Dates over there.
Pulling dates.
You would think. Or maybe he's a fan of the fruit.
Yeah. Who doesn't like a good date?
Exactly.
I love a date. I've never eaten a date in my life. You ever had a date?
I don't believe so.
Me either.
I stick to like 3 to 4 different fruits. I don't venture out too much.
I'm strawberry,
banana,
love my strawberries, love my bananas,
apple, orange.
Do an apple,
throw
orange,
a peach in there.
Throw some blueberries in the pancakes.
I don't like blueberries by themselves usually. If they're in stuff,
yes.
Yeah, I'll go after
like
that.
Like blueberry muffins.
Sure.
I'm good with that, but I've never had a date. 803-404-6100, Firehouse Sub text line. What does a date taste like?
Isn't it kind of like a fig?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
I like Fig Newtons. I've never had date Newtons.
Is that Fig Newtons? They count as you're serving a fruit?
I guess. I like me a Fig Newton, though. But they got to be fresh. You bite into a Fig Newton that's been sitting around for too long.
Sure.
It's not good.
That's a grown-up cookie. When you're a kid, you're not supposed to like those because fruit. When you get older, you appreciate that. Just like an oatmeal cream pie.
Oh.
Right?
Yes. I mean, oatmeal cream pie now, I eat them all day.
Oh, I think it's the most versatile snack.
You know what it is?
It's breakfast, it's a snack, it's dessert.
You know why? Because oatmeal, we eat oatmeal as kids.
Sure.
And even the flavored oatmeal, it's still oatmeal.
If you get some cinnamon and brown sugar, it can be solid.
If I can put a pound of sugar on top of oatmeal, I'm okay.
Sure.
But when you get older, you have this idea of oatmeal is like, you remember your parents made you eat oatmeal.
Well, see, you didn't grow up with dinosaur oatmeal that Quaker made when I was a kid.
Oh, no, I missed out on that. It was made out of actual dinosaurs?
No, but it had little eggs that would hatch, and you had little like dinosaur shapes in there somehow. I don't know how it worked.
What the hell kind of oatmeal did you have?
Listen, for anybody under the age of 30, you probably know what I'm talking about. Dinosaur oatmeal.
I never saw that.
Listen,
the eggs would hatch, Terry. These little things would run in my oatmeal.
They do some crazy things up there in Quaker, man.
So, yeah, please tell us what a date tastes like.
Jeff Goldblum was standing there for some reason.
Yeah, the one guy that dies sitting on the toilet.
Yeah.
Remember him?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not the way to go. But again, when you get eaten by a big dinosaur, it doesn't really matter what you're doing.
Nah.
All right, also, greatest day in the history of the world, March 4th. Wilt Chamberlain of the Philadelphia Warriors, ready for this, registers his 5th straight 50-point game.
I'm telling you, man, between Wilt and Gretzky,
they tear this thing up.
We need to start a tally.
We do.
And obviously, hockey and basketball are sports that are played more year-round than any others because these two guys dominate our greatest days.
I wonder how many consecutive days we'll see Wilt Chamberlain and Wayne Gretzky on this list.
You know what? March 4th, I'm starting to counter.
Start today. And one other old school back in the 60s, Joe Frazier wins a vacant heavyweight title with an 11th round TKO of Buster Mathis at Madison Square Garden. All right, this is really sad. 1990. And if you're a little bit of an old head, and you'll remember this, Hank Gathers, one of two Division I players to lead the nation in scoring and rebounding in the same season, played for Loyola Marymount under Paul Westhead. They played a fun style, up and down the court, scored a ton of points. Gathers started at Southern Cal like his teammate Bo Kimball. Then they transferred to Loyola Marymount, I should say. Hank Gathers, though, on this day, it's sad. He collapsed during the West Coast Conference tournament game against Portland and died. He was 23 years old. Just a sad, sad story. Hank Gathers on this day in 1990. There's a movie made about him. Bo Kimball, his teammate in the NCAA tournament, because Gathers was left-handed.
Yeah.
Bo Kimball was shooting left-handed free throws in honor of his teammate. And Loyola Marymount made a deep run in the NCAA tournament that year. So just a bit of a sad story. Let's see. Greatest day in the history of the world. 2013. Gonzaga made it to number 1 in the AP Top 25 for the first time in school history. 29-2 at the time. Gonzaga, on this day in 2013, finally reached number 1 in the country. 2 trips to the Final Four. I believe 2 under Mark Few. They lost in the championship game both times.
I almost won when they played Baylor a couple years ago. I almost won the office bracket challenge because I had Gonzaga winning it all. If they would have beat Baylor, I would have won like $300.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
That was
nice.
Drew Timme. That was like his freshman year. God, he played forever.
He was there 10 years.
Yeah, it felt like it.
You.
And I thought that was going to be the year where they finally broke through. Unfortunately not.
Baylor whooped them.
Yep.
Right from the get-go. Baylor whooped them. All right, let's see. What time we got here? All right, one more. This day in 2015, Russell Westbrook becomes the first player since Michael Jordan in 1989 to have 4 consecutive triple-doubles, and the first since Jordan that year to have back-to-back triple-doubles with at least 40 points. Westbrook set a career high with 49 points, also 16 rebounds, 10 assists. Oklahoma City beat Philadelphia. Look, Russell Westbrook, as a stat stuffer, had a phenomenal run for a few years. But Russell Westbrook was a stat stuffer.
Yeah.
It didn't really translate into a lot of winning on a high level. It was just a lot of stats and a lot of SportsCenter highlights.
Yep.
You don't take away from the individual accomplishment of Westbrook because those stats are phenomenal. But how does it translate to winning games? It just really didn't, to be fair. But Westbrook is 4th straight triple-double on this day, 2015. All right, we will update our little Twitter poll here real quick at 107.5 The Game. Very simple. 11 Gamecocks were at the Combine. We took 4 of them and put them in our poll. Which one of these Gamecocks who are at the Combine will be the toughest to replace in the upcoming season? Kyle Kennard, Nick Emenwari, TJ Sanders, Demetrius Knight. We got over 600 views, 86 votes, and we still have plenty of time on this poll. Right now, Nick Emenwari at 42% leads the way. Kyle Kennard, 27% second. Demetrius Knight, 20% third. And TJ Sanders, 12% fourth. So you can vote at 107.5 The Game. Who would you vote for, Bub?
Ooh, it's hard to argue against Emenwari, but, man, it's all good options.
Yeah, absolutely is. If you got to pick one.
I can make a strong case for Demetrius Knight.
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that.
That speed and what we're seeing on display at the Combine this past weekend, that's hard to replicate. That sideline-to-sideline ability, just that veteran knack.
And to throw it to your point, also you can say who's replacing him this year.
Yeah, again, unproven. We don't know.
So that's a good one. All right, we will do the handoff. Sponsored by Little Pigs on Alpine Road with our buddy Elijah Campbell. And also our Firehouse Subtext, the hour, 803-404-6100. Halftime show, we wrap this baby up and hand it off to Elijah. And the postgame show next here on The Game in Columbia, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
107.5 The Game in Columbia, 100.5 The Game in Florence, and 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. The Game Network. Everybody loves streaming till you have to pay for it. Just download the 107.5 The Game app and stream us for free.
This is Andrew Perloff with a Sports Minute. The NCAA tournament usually isn't kind to star freshmen. The older, more balanced teams tend to go further. We'll soon see if Cooper Flagg could be an exception at Duke. Flagg was dominant last night in what could have been his final game at Cameron Indoor. A lot of people are going to fill out their brackets and have Duke on the final line. Not to put more pressure on the kid, but to get where they want to go, Flagg is going to have to succeed where other generational talents have failed. I'm Andrew Perloff.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this. If something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
Welcome to TGL, presented by SoFi, golf's newest league. It's sharp and it's electric. 2 hours of hammer-dropping, overtime-forcing playoffs on the line golf with 24 of the best players from the PGA Tour. Tonight, Jupiter versus Atlanta. Tiger Woods, Max Homa, Tom Kim, Kevin Kisner, taking on Justin Thomas, Patrick Cantlay, Billy Horschel, Lucas Glover. Tune in tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern for TGL, only on ESPN and ESPN+. Keep up. It's golf.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-367-6289. 800-367-6289. 800-367-6289.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Progressive knows not all rides are smooth. Meet Peter. He loves his motorcycle. What he doesn't love is wind. Which is ironic, because wind is a big part of the whole wind-in-your-face motorcycle cliche. But nobody ever tells you how relentless a strong crosswind is, or the cliche wouldn't exist. Not every ride is smooth, but Progressive has your back. Get a quote to see if you can save with America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in D.C.
Gain a global perspective and specialized skills that many of today's top employers are seeking with an MBA from University of Maryland Global Campus. Study online and complete your degree in just 16 months for about $21K. Choose from MBA specializations in global business, marketing, HR, finance, and more. Classes start March 12th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Now, on the Halftime Show, it's time for our Firehouse Subs Text of the Hour on the Game Network and on the 107.5 The Game app.
All right, get to our Firehouse Sub Text of the Hour. 803-446-100. Also do our handoff there, buddy Elijah Campbell on the post-game show. No Jay today, still trolling around New York City. Have you even heard from him?
I have not. So I assume that it's going well. It's one of those things, if I don't hear from him, it's the safe assumption that everything's going well.
Or he got lost somewhere in New York City.
And he knows better not to text me because I would not be able to find him. I've never been.
You ever been to New York City?
Nope.
Really?
So you could say, Elijah, I'm lost in New York City. I'm like, buddy, you might as well be lost in the wilderness.
Good luck. I need bail money. Oh, wrong guy.
Then my phone will magically become disconnected.
Really weird how that'll happen. I can't believe you've never been to New York City, man.
Never been.
You're a world traveler. I'm surprised.
I mean, I've been out of the continent once.
You've been all over the place in the 48, right?
Relatively, yeah. If I'm thinking back on the states I've been to, I cover a lot of ground. Just not New York.
You got the desire to go? Is it one of those things you want to get to at some point?
Yeah. I just haven't had the chance to.
New York City's cool, ain't gonna lie. It's a fun little hang, is New York City. Yep, first time I went, I was 18. Can't really get into that conversation.
Legally?
A lot of felonies.
I was going to say, legally, you can't get into that conversation.
New York, if you've been in New York City now, the New York City that you walk through now, especially around Broadway and everything, is not the New York City the 18-year-old Terry Ford went to. There was a lot of debauchery.
Significantly different.
A lot of debauchery going on in New York City when I was 18. That's why I wanted to go so bad. I was 18. Anyway, you should go. It's cool. It's a good time. It is an absolute good time. So Jay will be back Friday, correct?
Correct.
All right. What you have on the old shindig today, real quick, before we get to the Firehouse Subtext of the hour?
So my man Michael Sauls from the State covers the women's basketball team. Is going to join me at 3:30. Going to talk about our poll question today. I put a lot of thought into how I would answer that. That's the first poll question I think we've had in a long time that I had to sit and think about which one I would take.
Because you could make a case for all four. And basically, if you just jumped in and you didn't know, our poll question is out of these four Gamecocks who are at the Combine, Kyle Kennard, Nikki Minwori, TJ Sanders, and Demetrius Knight, who will be the toughest to replace? And you really can make a legit case for all four, man.
Oh, yeah. I kind of did a little bit. I know I have a case for all four, but there's one that separated himself a little bit to me mentally.
It's funny because it's no offense to Eamon Wari, even though he's going to be the guy to hear his name called first in the NFL draft. You got guys coming back at DB. You have people who can step up, might not be as good as Eamon Wari, but can be solid at safety, right?
Yeah, they're not going to be black holes in the defense.
Because my thing, in me thinking about this poll question, was not only what this guy did, but how tough will he be to replace. And, my first thought was Kennard, because Kennard helped out Dylan Stewart so much, and Dylan Stewart helped out Kennard, and that pass rush really was the key to that defense, right? But then Tyler made a great point about Demetrius Knight, is how vital he was, because the linebacker play was, we don't talk about enough how those linebackers stepped up last year, right? You got none of them coming back.
None.
Zero.
The entire room's gone.
It's gone. The room is empty. And so that's a thing. Replacing Demetrius Knight is who's going to do it.
Well, that's the thing. There's so much versatility with him too. Like he wasn't just good at stopping the run. He was good in coverage. He played. Yeah, he made a big special teams play against Oklahoma where he snuffed out a fake punt.
Yep.
Like you have like a lot of positional versatility with Demetrius Knight and football smarts and the leadership element that
he's
really
a real
to.
good one. And then with TJ Sanders, getting pass rush from the interior to get in the face of a quarterback is gold. Again, TJ Sanders is leaving. They've got a bunch of unknown dudes who you hope can step up, but there's nobody you know of that's going to step up and bring that kind of pass rush from the interior like TJ Sanders.
And the hope is kind of that you bring in Gabriel Brownlow-Dindy from Texas A&M with the hope of tapping into the potential of what he was coming out of high school, which was the number 11 player in the country and a five-star, kid. Like that's what you hope you can get from him, or at least 70% of what that untapped potential is.
And then you have Xavier Hardy, you hope can come from the JUCO ranks and give you something. But what TJ Sanders did, I don't think we value enough or understand enough how important and vital that was to your pass rush.
Or the jump he made. Like, think about 2023. And he had that game against Georgia where he single-handedly pretty much snuffed Georgia's offense out off the scoreboard for most of that first half.
Yeah, he was a
everywhere.
game wrecker. He was a game wrecker.
Didn't hear much from him the rest of the year. He had some flashes here and there. But in 2024, he stuck together an entire season of productivity. It was game after game. You were hearing TJ Sanders' name a lot. You were watching him wreck the backfield, whether it be in pass rush or stopping the run. it was incredibly impressive just because of the kind of like the career arc.
Yes, you got all four of these that you could pick one from. Real quick, Firehouse sub text the hour 803-404-6100. What do you got?
Issue non-accessible at the moment.
Really?
Tyler's signed in on the computer. He doesn't have the password saved for it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's all right. We'll see. You know what? Time to go anyway. Hear the music.
Yeah.
Oh well. Oh, you won for tomorrow.
There we go. Yeah.
All right. So Elijah Campbell in the post-game show coming up, and once again you will be talking with
Michael Sauls from the state. This is his first time on these here airwaves.
All right. Well, be gentle.
I'll try not to scare him too much.
Yeah. Maybe he can come back sometime.
I had him come on for 2 segments, so he's going to find out real quick.
All right. Post-game show next. Halftime show done. Tyler, nice work.
107.5 The Game, broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevy Studios. You can save up to $20,000 on new silver